Welcome back to Man Down Sports. As you can see from the thumbnail, Stephen A. Smith is the topic of discussion today. Kyrie Irving, a lot of other things. You see the rundown, JJ Redick, some things that Dwyane Wade said. And I apologize for coming to y'all during the game, man, because I know the game is in the first quarter, but I'm gonna try to get y'all out of here so we can all watch the second half, which we know matters most, man. But I got the score over here. I'm watching the stat sheets and all that stuff, man. So my apologies for coming to you, but I haven't done my live show in maybe 2 weeks. I missed 2 Tuesdays in a row. So I think I had to get in here and get some stuff off my chest, man. So I allow some people to get in here, man. Y'all can go in the comment section. Let me know who's in the house. Let me know where y'all coming from, especially if you're new. If you're new in here, man, definitely let me know who you are and where you're from. On your way in, make sure you hit the thumbs up, man. That's very important. Hit that thumbs up, hit that like button. And if you're new, go ahead and subscribe and hit the notification bell as well. So when I have these impromptu lives, you'll get notified and you won't have to watch the playback. And, you get an opportunity to call in and experience the live chat and all that good stuff, man. So, let me know where y'all coming from in here. Make sure y'all hit that like button. And this episode is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy is the best place to play fantasy sports. I want to tell you about the easiest way to get in on some NBA action with Underdog Fantasy and their pick'em game. Just find your favorite player or any player for that matter, pick higher or lower on that player's stats, and you can win up to 20 times your money in one night. Pick between 2 or 5 players to fill your pick'em entry. Get every pick right, and you can net yourself some serious cash. Use the promo code Man Down Sports, and you can get your deposit doubled up to $100. You got to check on the map to make sure your state is eligible to play Underdog Fantasy. But as soon as you do, and if your state is, go ahead and download Underdog Fantasy's app. Use the promo code Man Down Sports, and you can, like I said, you can get that $100 match on your first deposit. And I would want to thank Underdog Fantasy for sponsoring Man Down Sports. All right, man. So this is gonna be a really good show, man. I can't wait to do this, man. What's up, Zoe? Zoe up in the house, man. My dog. Zoe in the house, man. NYC in the house. What's up, Kent? Yeah. I got moderators in here. Greg Anderson, what's up, big dog? Stephen A. getting a hard stomach these days. Man, he just not getting hard to stomach for you? Man, he been hard to stomach, man. Like some spoiled food, man. Shout out from the Philippines. What's up, brother? We gonna get into it, man. I ain't gonna waste no time because I know y'all want to get back to this game. It's probably gonna end up being a blowout by the fourth quarter, but we'll see. We're shaking money bags. But yeah, let's get started. So Stephen A. Smith, man. All right, so Kyrie Irving has been balling out, all year long. I don't know how he missed the All-Star team. But he had a little injury early, missed some games. I don't know. Maybe Dallas at that time didn't have enough games that they won, and they couldn't justify getting 2 guys in there. So I don't know. I don't know how he missed All-Star, but he's been balling out all year round, and he definitely been balling out in the playoffs, man. That's not even a question. It's like it's been unreal. All the things that people said he wasn't gonna be able to do, all the things that people said that he didn't stand for. All the criticism he got in Brooklyn and in Boston, all of that stuff is quiet because Kyrie has been quiet and has been playing ball, and they don't have much to complain about. They don't have much to say, right? And everything that they was getting the NBA fan base to believe about Kyrie, because a lot of people believed it. Like the things that Stephen A. Smith was saying, he got the entire group of media guys that he run with to push the same narrative. I'm talking about Kendrick Perkins. I'm talking about Will Barn, Jalen Rose to a certain extent, Shaq, Charles Barkley, Ernie. I think the only people who was really speaking up for Kyrie was maybe Kenny Smith and Jay Will, right? JJ Redick. Like everybody was just against him. And when you got that, definitely Shannon, definitely Nick Wright, definitely Rob Parker, Chris Broussard, like these guys, all the big names was all pushing toward pushing Kyrie out of the league, and it made it very easily for Joe Tsai and Sean Marks to do what they did to him in Brooklyn, which was some unfair mess. I mean, like how they treated him in Brooklyn was unreal, right? But it was very easy because you see someone getting treated like that, and if it was a person that was that was in good standing, reputation wise, you would want to speak up for that guy. But if it's someone whose name has been tarnished so much to the point where we felt like I want to sit back and watch him get his butt whooped, I mean, I'm down with that. I'm cool with that. It's almost like watching a execution of a serial killer. Like, I know that's brutal, but he deserved it. Let's sit back and watch this. Like, people actually show up to watch executions. And that's what people was doing with Kyrie Irving. They was sitting back and watching the media and the Brooklyn Nets attempt to execute his career, assassinate it. I mean, he lost his shoe deal. He lost his Nike deal. He was in the contract year. The contract he was seeking, Brooklyn wasn't going to get him. Everybody justified that. Like, I mean, it was just orchestrated hit on this guy. But now we get to the point where time, reveals all things. And, so if you wait long enough, the truth will just come out. If you wait long enough and the blinders get lifted and the emotions die down and you're able to just look at the situation for what it is, the truth usually come out. And when you can just sit back and watch them, like, man, why was we hating this dude in the first place? You know what I'm saying? Why was we hating him? Why was we mad at him about not getting a vax? Now that we see people are dropping dead from the vax, from the jab, and this dude ain't never been sick. Nobody in his family has either. Like, was he right the whole time about that? Right? Why was we mad about that tweet? Didn't Shaq show the same movie that he tweeted out in the theater that he owns? Like, those type of things is just hilarious to me. And now people are trying to backtrack and backpedal because now this dude is about to be on the biggest stage in the finals, redemption tour. He got his contract. He got a shoe deal back with Anta, not with Nike, but with Anta. So everything that he supposedly lost the opportunity to get a long-term deal with max money, lost the opportunity of a shoe deal. He got all of that back, and he got his team, him and Luka, to the next level that people didn't even see them getting. They had the conference finals, one game away from the finals, right? That's a huge stage. So now what this dude is cementing himself in the storyline for the NBA moving forward and for the current time being, right? So as a commentator for someone who talks basketball, you have nothing bad to say about this dude. So now how do you cover your own sport knowing that he's a big chunk of what's going on in the sport that you cover? And knowing all the things that you said about this dude and knowing that you were, helping attempt to assassinate his character and assassinate his career. Now you got to sit and talk good about this. So now people are trying to backpedal a little bit on the treatment they gave him, and Stephen A. Smith is one of those guys. Like I said, Kenny Smith never really gave him a finishing, a finishing move. He never came out and really tried to give him a death blow, right? So Kenny Smith was kind of neutral. Sometimes he'll speak up for Kyrie a little bit, but he wasn't that bad with it. So it turned into Kenny Smith saying something in defense of Kyrie and saying that he had to call Stephen A. Smith and explain to him why he was wrong, which led to Stephen A.'s very weak, in my opinion, very weak apology. So I'll play for you what Kenny Smith said, and then I get to Stephen A. Smith.
Well, I'm just excited, as you started off, that we're talking about him. And there's been like a constant change in the thought process about him by the mass media. As a basketball player, we're not talking about his political or social stances and looking at him in a negative view. And I'll say it. I wasn't going to say it, but I've never said it to Kyrie, but I've said it to Stephen A. Because at one time Stephen A. was an advocate about having a battle with this guy. And I had to call Stephen. I'm like, this guy's from our neighborhood. I named like 6 people. And I said, Stephen, those people mentored you. They mentored him. So when you say something about him, you're actually saying it about us. And so he understood, and they kind of fell back. And because as a media person, we have to understand that young men go through young things. They grow up, they learn things, and they appreciate things, and they have a different viewpoint than we might have had. But as a basketball player, you got to double this guy. And if you don't double this guy, you go home in 4. And that's the difference between this Kyrie, and I love to see
Who's in the building, Kenny?
Superman is in the building when he has the ball over there.
Yeah, all that stuff is good. He self-inflicted himself. He got to take some responsibility. I think he's grown up. I think he's matured. Stephen A. and other people criticized him, and he rightly deserved it. You can't go out there being anti-Semitic, and you can do the vaccine thing. That's your own thing. But he deserved the criticism he got. He deserved the suspension he got. But as a basketball player, I think he's really grown up. I thought after game 1, that was a grown man in full flight. I'd never seen him that happy. We all made mistakes. I've done plenty of stupid things, but at some point you have to grow up. And I think he's grown.
So that's Kenny Smith, revealing to us that he had to go and had this conversation with Stephen A. Smith. All right, that's one piece of it. Then Charles Barkley came in and was like, that's all nice what you said. But, he had to interject and say he deserved everything that he got. Right. And the reason why he said that is because, one, you can't go out there being anti-Semitic, which is crazy to me because I don't even think Chuck knows what that word means. And I know he hasn't done enough research to just really have a good grasp on what that means. And plus the fact Kyrie Irving never was anti-Semitic. He never was. Right. Neither was the movie that he tweeted out. Right. So it was just research that someone did, and he documented it on a documentary, and he put it out there. Charles Barkley never even watched the movie. That's what's crazy to me. Even when they was criticizing him so much, Charles Barkley admitted, and everybody that was on that panel admitted, they never watched the movie. They said, as long as someone from that community tells me it was offensive to them, that's all I need to know. And yes, we must do what our network is telling us to do, and our bosses is telling us to do, and they're telling us to trash them, right? So we got to go over here and do it. I can't for the life of me understand how you don't understand the situation, but just because someone told you it was bad, that you could be this enthused or this animated about how you talk down on Kyrie when they was doing it. And so just keep that in mind. He said that the anti-Semitism was, why he deserved that suspension. And then he said, okay, with the vax, that's your own thing. You can do it. He just brushed it off like, oh, it ain't no, because now hindsight being 2020, he realized, oh, Kyrie was right about that. Kyrie was right about that, right? So I thought that was interesting that that Charles Barkley would even say that, man. He's still trying to double down on that instead of just saying, man, Kyrie was right the whole time. That's what he should have said. Kyrie was right, right? But you can't say anything against the vax, and you can't say anything against what his bosses was telling him about that movie that Kyrie tweeted out. They still got to die on that hill that he deserved it. Well, in Chuck's case, with Stephen A. Smith, now that Kenny Smith has came out on TNT and publicly, because he said he wasn't even planning to do it, but just in the midst of him having that conversation, he told that he had a conversation with Stephen A. Smith. So Stephen A. Smith, he addressed it on his show First Take, and then he addressed it again on his podcast later that day. I want to play for you what he said on this podcast. It's a 10-minute clip, and it's I think on the thumbnail it says Kyrie, I apologize, right? And then in that 10-minute clip of him supposedly apologizing, the word apologize or I'm sorry never came out of his mouth. And he talked for 8 minutes before he got to the part where I'm about to play for you. Like, he talked for 8 minutes about giving a rundown from start to finish of how this thing started. He's talking about Kyrie's dad and Kyrie, and that time he met Kyrie, and Kyrie tapped him on his shoulder and said, this ain't between me and you no more, this is between you and my dad. And then he talked about Boston and Cleveland and LeBron. Like, he gave a whole rundown, almost like the purpose of doing it was just for him to, have airtime on his podcast. And he knew apology that Kyrie was going to have a lot of people click on his video, but it really wasn't no real apology. So he talked, and then he got to this part.
And I'm not one that usually gives a shit what anybody thinks. I stand on what I stand on. I feel the way that I feel because I pride myself in being man enough to acknowledge when I'm wrong if I think I'm wrong, because I think it's rare. But I was wrong. And for Kenny Smith to tell me that, it hit home in a big way because we go back more than 30 years. And I can count on two fingers how many times he's thought I was wrong. And so his friendship, his brotherhood means a lot to me, but it also reminded me of the brotherhood of all of those that mentored and have been there for Kyrie. And it reminded me of somebody like my colleague at ESPN, Jay Williams. I love Jay, but we definitely don't see eye to eye on a few things, but damn it, when he's right, he's right. And he was right. I didn't think he was right at the time. But when you reflect sometimes and you see things for what they are, you got to man up and accept it. And that's what I wanted to do. And so I'm glad that Kenny Smith told that story. I'm glad that he said what he said because it was 1,000% accurate in the exact context that he said he spoke to me. He absolutely, he said it 100% on point. I've been pissed a lot lately for having my words misconstrued, for people using it for clickbait, just to interpret me saying something that I didn't say because I know what the hell their agenda is. But Kenny Smith didn't do that. And I really appreciate it. And I think that it's made me better because of it. I'm not going to be perfect, but if I think I'm right, I'm not backing up. And if I'm wrong, I will back up and I'll confess to it publicly. And I think
he said he was wrong. That was the apology. I was wrong. That was the closest thing to the apology. Like I said, it's a 10-minute clip. You can go find it. It's a 10-minute clip that he clipped up. He talked for 8 minutes about the rundown of how everything started and how it got to where it got to. And then that's when he started his apology. He said, I was wrong. I don't know what the hell he said he was. I still don't understand what he was wrong about. What he's saying he was wrong about. And then he said, I'm hardly ever wrong. So if Kenny Smith say I'm wrong, then I must have been wrong. And oh yeah, Kenny Smith was right. And Jay Real right sometimes, but sometimes he's not. And we did. That's basically what he was saying. I'm trying to figure out what the apology was at. I was wrong. Right? I was wrong. I thought you stole my wallet. I punched you. I was wrong. You didn't steal my wallet. But I'm not going to apologize about punching you. So all the pain that he caused, all the affliction that he purposely put out there, how often he did it. Like if you slip up and do it one time, 2 times, maybe even 3 times, well, all right, man, I talked about it on my podcast. I talked about it on First Take. And maybe I talked about it on First Take twice. But I'm talking about like, oh, I'm going to Dan Lerpatard's show. I'm talking about it then. I'm going to All the Smoke. I'm talking about it then. I'm going to Earn Your Leisure on that podcast. That's a money podcast. I'm talking about it then. I'm at the Super Bowl sitting down with somebody. I'm talking about it then. I talked about it on First Take every single week, especially during the pandemic. Like the amount of affliction he was doing. I'm circling the wagons and getting colleagues to join me in doing it. And I'm constantly doing it. And it started from when he left Cleveland. And then it really started when he thought that him and KD was supposed to go to New York, and he felt like Kyrie talked KD into going to Brooklyn. And then it started back like we're gonna run through all of this, right? But the fact that all of that affliction, all of that pain you was purposely trying to cause and orchestrate and lead, right? For you to come in and say I was wrong. Wrong about what? What were you wrong about? Wrong about what? And then are you apologizing for the things you said? What about the false things you said? Like I heard that Kyrie Irving would hold his own practices after Steve Nash would stop practice. Kyrie would go in and grab the teammates and hold his own practice and say, "These are the plays I want to run." That was a story that came from, I don't know if y'all heard of Ball Sack Sports, but they got a X account and they put out false stories on purpose that look real. And Stephen A. Smith got caught up with that when it went on First Take with that tweet from Ball Sack Sports and told the world that Kyrie Irving was undermining Steve Nash by holding practices after the real practice, and that was false, right? So you got falsehoods going out there. You got falsehoods. You got Rob Parker and Chris Broussard got caught by Ball Sack Sports when they put a story out there, and Odin Polynice came on their story and said that Kyrie Irving was at a team dinner at Steve Nash's house, and he told Steve Nash, "Why don't you give those 2 MVPs to Kobe where they belong?" That was a Ball Sack Sports story, and Rob Parker and Chris Broussard told that story to the world on their radio station. Like, these are the lies they was telling, right? I mean, it goes, the rabbit hole goes deep with this thing. So what are you apologizing for? Which you really not apologize. You said you were wrong. What was you wrong about? I think you need to tell people what you was wrong about in depth, and with the type of enthusiasm you had when you was throwing darts at Kyrie Irving. I think that's in great order. I think that's something that you should do if you're really sorry about whatever you said or whatever you did, which I don't think you are sorry at all. I just think, hey man, this is good TV. This is good click. Stephen A. Smith, his life is a movie. Like, everything he do it for TV. And this is just the next thing in the script for him to do. And it sounds good and it's all dope. But, I mean, is it real? I don't think it is. So let's get to Kyrie specifically, and let's get into some of these situations that started it. And the reason why I say that Kyrie Irving is like a modern day Joseph, and if you familiar with biblical stories, the story of Joseph in Genesis, is pretty much Joseph was the son that all the brothers, despise for whatever reason. They was jealous of him for whatever reason, and he was loved by his dad, but his brothers hated him. And what ended up happening is they end up selling Joseph into slavery. And when they sold him into slavery, he had some hard times. He was living with one guy, and he had to run away from that guy. And eventually he got to Egypt, and he's not in great circumstances. He gets to Egypt, and just because he was so gifted and skilled at something, the Pharaoh saw use in him. So he comes sold into slavery, was a servant in someone's house. As a matter of fact, before he was even sold into slavery, they threw him in the well for him to die. And then someone found him and sold him into slavery. And then he ended up in Egypt as a slave. And then he went from slave to second in charge right under the Pharaoh because he had a gift. Right. And all of those years working with Pharaoh and doing good, Egypt was blessed just because he was there and because he was using his gift in Egypt with the Pharaoh. And then it came to a point where it was a famine in the land, and his brothers and his family members, all wherever they was from, didn't have enough food. They had to come to Egypt to get some food. And then Joseph seen them and was like, those are my brothers. These are the people that left him for dead. These are the people who eventually sold him into slavery. These are the people who probably thought he wasn't even living anymore. And now you see them starving, and you send out a bridge. Hey, I want y'all to come to Egypt and live with me, right? He didn't have no animosity toward his brothers. You get what I'm saying? That was Joseph. That's very similar to what's happening to Kyrie. Kyrie went from Boston. They didn't want him there no more. They ran him out of Boston. He goes to New York. In Brooklyn. You already seen how that happened. Pandemic happened. Vax happened. Tweet happened. And his brothers are just going out and just taking turns, just throwing darts at him and trying to bury this man. Right. And eventually somehow he ended up in Dallas, where everybody thought, After this, he's done. He's not going to get a contract. Nobody's going to give him no money. His shoe deal's done. Everybody thought Kyrie was going to be done out of the league. They left him for dead. Mark Cuban brought him over to Egypt or Dallas. And his skill, his talent got Dallas in a very, very great spot right now. And now that the media only got 2 teams or really 3 teams they can talk about, they have to talk about Dallas. They have to talk about Kyrie. So that's the famine. They need something to talk about. Dang, we ain't got no choice but to talk about Kyrie. So here come the same brothers that threw him under the bus, left him for dead. Chuck called him an idiot. Shaq called him an idiot. Ernie seconded all of that. Kenny spoke a little bit in defense of him. Draymond was quiet. LeBron threw him under the bus. Like everybody was killing him, except Jay Will, Kenny Smith, and Kevin Durant. All his brothers. Look at their body language. He just showed up, gave everybody a handshake. They tried to act like they was happy to see him. He sat down, just let his nuts hang, got his legs open and balls just out, and he looking at them like a man. Like, I want to look me in my eyes. Kenny Smith, the only one that got his head up. Shaq is right beside him, and he don't even know how to feel. I don't even know if I can look at this dude in his eyes right now. I don't think. This is the first time I've seen him face to face after all the words I've said about him in a negative way. I don't know how this interview is going to go. His head is down. Ernie's not even looking at him, and Ernie's talking right now. Draymond's not even looking at him. Chuck definitely not looking at him. Kenny Smith is the only one who feels confident enough where I can look you in your face and look in your eye. That body language says a lot. That body language says a whole lot, right? So this is the interview, I think after they won game 3, maybe, that he came in and did an interview, and the interview went well. Once Kyrie came in and showed them his teeth and was smiling and was respectful and pretty much was like, look, man, everything y'all said about me is cool. He even patted Shaq on his shoulder and was like, man, hey, man, this is my brother from Jersey, man. You know, we stick together no matter what. He said that to Shaq after Shaq threw him under the bus and called him an idiot on national TV. Why are we even talking about this dude? I hate that we got to talk about this dude. He's an idiot. That's what Shaq said over a movie tweet. And here he is extending the olive branch and saying, look, man, this is my Jersey brother. We stick together. Right? What a thing to say for somebody. And that's what Joseph did. After you look your brothers in the eye years later, after they thought they killed you, and you see them starving, like TNT is starving for. Who else was they going to interview right here? Who else was going to be interested enough? Maybe Luka, maybe. But, I mean, to get Kyrie, come on. When the last time you seen Kyrie in an interview? Right? So, they starving for content. Hey, here I am. I'm going to help y'all with y'all famine. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to brace y'all. I'm going to brace the streets with my presence. Right? And then they got all bubbly and happy and start talking. I'm like, man, these are some freaking hypocrites, man. Listen to this.
Let me get the big question, the elephant in the room. LeBron James is a superstar, widely considered the best player in the world.
And look, the reason why I'm playing this, right? The reason why I'm playing this, and let me take this down. The reason why I'm playing this, because I want y'all to see how all of this started, right? So Kyrie Irving, I give you the rundown. Kyrie Irving had the media had no negative things to say about him when he was playing with LeBron James and when he was winning with Cleveland. This war with the media all started when he requested the trade away from Cleveland. I don't know if you could remember the climate back then, but the media was so confused. Why do you want to leave LeBron James? He's the best player in the league. Y'all just won a championship a year and a half ago. Why you want to leave LeBron? And they was mad for LeBron. So First Take and Stephen A. Smith, I don't know what Stephen A. Smith said to Kyrie and to his agent to get him to agree to come on First Take. But I don't think that Kyrie Irving expected them to bum rush him the way they did. They didn't have him on there for a regular interview where they asking. I mean, the trade had already went down at this point. He was already a Boston Celtic. So I get that you want to start the interview off with the obvious question, why you wanted to leave Cleveland, and then follow it up with, all right, so for the record, did you want to leave Cleveland to get away from LeBron? Once you ask those two questions and he give you that answer, right, it's time to move on. All right, so now you're in Boston. What are you expecting? What are your goals? All of this stuff. They never got to that. They were mad at Kyrie Irving because they had already had in their mind, when we get him on this show and we ask him these Cleveland questions and these LeBron questions, it doesn't matter what he say. We got stories we can run with afterwards. And the story they really wanted, because they had been talking about it from the time he requested the trade to the time he came on the show, of why he want to leave LeBron. This don't make sense. There's got to be something going on. Is it the coach? Is it the GM? Is it the ownership? Is it LeBron? They wanted to know because they wanted they needed a story. The streets needed a body. They wanted something. And Kyrie Irving went on that program and very cleverly avoided every trap question they asked him. They was asking him all these questions where supposedly it don't matter how you answer this, we can spin it and we got stories. Kyrie avoided all the questions like the Matrix, and they couldn't really get the story they wanted. So that pissed them off really bad. But listen to this.
Let me get the big question, the elephant in the room. LeBron James is a superstar, widely considered the best player in the world. Kyrie Irving is a star. Everybody knows you're a bad boy. But the reality is that you got tired of playing second fiddle. You wanted your own team. This is the perception. Yeah. You wanted your own team, and damn it, you was tired of being second fiddle in Cleveland, and you no longer wanted to be LeBron James' teammate. Respond to those accusations.
Oh, man. Well, the actual storyline of everything that was created from a variety of sources, a variety of people, whether it be from my circle, whether it be from anywhere else, the last person that everybody kind of forgot about was me. I didn't say, as you said, I didn't say a damn word. And
that is true.
And it was all because that was never a reality for me, because I know the type of person I am, and I know who I'm developing into and who I want to become. It never came from the fact of me wanting to be absolutely selfish and absolutely putting myself first and wanting to be the man. I don't really have an ego. I have a presence and aura about me that's very reality based. It didn't come in a form of living in this false world and not being able to tell the truth to somebody and look them in the eye and like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm ready to move on, and I'm ready to be on my own. I'm ready to try out a new situation and be in an environment where I felt like I can be happy. And my intent was still the same, and it always would be the same, is that to be around people and to interact with them. I love doing that. And to do that through basketball, that's even better. But to be happy every single day I come to work and perfecting my craft, oh, man, I can't wait to get the next season started.
Go ahead, Max.
So he's trying to say, hey, look, man, I just want to be happy. Oh, shoot, did it?
Let me get the
okay. It restarted, but so he's trying to
LeBron James is a superstar.
Avoid the trap of what they because he's asking him why you want to leave Cleveland. They have anything to do with LeBron.
Knows you're a bad boy.
So he gave him a long answer. He avoided saying that it had something to do with LeBron, and he went this way and went this way, and then he came back to saying, I want to be happy. I want to perfect my craft, and that's this is what it's all about. Basically, if you read between the lines, you can just say, man, he wanted a new challenge, and it's certain thing, whatever it is that was internally he had to deal with, that he wanted to go and see if he could accept this challenge and venture by himself and be a team leader. That's not nothing you come out nationally on television and say.
As you said, I didn't say a damn word.
Right. That's not nothing you say. Like even when Kobe wanted to get away from Shaq, he wasn't out there telling ESPN, I wanted to get away from Shaq so I can see, so I can show people what I can do. That sounds very selfish. Nobody's going to offer that to you so you can write a story about it. I'm not going to offer you that I'm a selfish person, because they were trying to pin that home. You're here in the next questions.
It was all because that was never reality for me, because I knew I know the type of person I am, and I know who I'm developing into and who I want to become. It never came from the fact of me wanting to be absolutely selfish and absolutely putting myself first and wanting to be the man. I don't really have an ego. I have a presence and aura about me that's very reality based. It didn't come in a form of living in this false world and not being able to tell the truth to somebody and look them in the eye and like that. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm ready to move on, and I'm ready to be on my own. I'm ready to try out a new situation and be in an environment where I felt like I can be happy. And my intent was still the same, and it always would be the same, is that to be around people and to interact with them. I love doing that. And to do that through basketball, that's even better. But to be happy every single day I come to work and perfecting my craft, oh, man, I can't wait to get the next season started.
Go ahead, Max.
Kyrie, glad to have you on the show. Thanks for being here. So I just want to get it straight.
So I wish y'all could see Mac's face on this, but he couldn't wait, and he's trying to be professional, but he's ready to pounce on him because they've been, oh my, I just want to take this little dude and just shake him, man. Like they're pissed off, and Max thinks that I can corner him, right? I don't think Stephen A. Smith is actually trying to make it obvious, because Stephen A. Smith is probably the only reason why he took this interview. Stephen A. Smith, I don't know what he told them, but I doubt that he expected this. So Stephen A. Smith is trying to stay true. Like, I'm not going to bum rush you. You get what I'm saying? So he's trying to kind of stay a little bit neutral and professional, but he's going to let daggone Max try to corner him into saying something that's going to be beneficial for all the social media and all the basketball media so they can run with it.
You no longer wanted to play with LeBron James?
Excuse me?
Did you no longer want to play with LeBron James?
I mean, it's not really about wanting or not wanting to. It really just became how everyone turned this into a madness because it was myself and LeBron. If this were anybody else getting traded, I don't think it would have been as big a storyline. Being with that guy was unbelievable. It was something that I will relish in for the rest of my life, because the situations that we came across as individuals and as a team, collectively, we all grew. And when you get to that crossroad in your career and in your life, and you have to make that decision, it's not about necessarily figuring out what the other person's intent is. It's figuring out what your intent is. And when I came to that crossroad and I looked myself in the mirror and I was like, okay, this is absolutely something that I want to do. It didn't have anything to do with not wanting to play with the best player on the planet. It didn't have anything to do with not wanting to be the second fiddle, not wanting to be sunned. And as you like to say, Max, being a second-class citizen, I have no idea what that is, or a second banana. I don't have any idea what that is. But I know that I'm very solidified in who I am as a person, and I always will be that way.
Let me ask you this question.
Well, hold on, Stephen A. Let me just follow up with that, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Then I'm a little confused by the answer, Kyrie, because when you say you don't have ego, I see the way you play at the end of games. You want the ball. You're a killer in crunch time, and you're extremely talented. It seems to me that kind of player, the closer, as they say, does have ego. So if you say that you want to leave LeBron because that's the crossroads in your career, you're ready to kind of have your own team, are you also saying, it seems to me you would be saying, but correct me if I'm wrong, that you think you have a better chance of winning a championship on another team? Because as a winning player, I would assume that would be the ultimate goal, not necessarily seeing how far you can go on your own, or as the leader of a team, but giving yourself the best chance to win a championship. Do you think by leaving Cleveland that's what you did, or am I wrong in my premise?
So that's just another way of him trying to get to that story of Kyrie wanted to leave LeBron, because now if you ask him, do you think you got a better chance of winning the championship in Boston than you do in Cleveland? Right? What kind of question is that? So if he says yes, then he's delusional, because you just went to the finals with Cleveland with LeBron, who's arguably the best player in the league, right? Y'all won one, and then y'all lost the next one. So that's 2 years in a row y'all went to the finals, and LeBron's still in his prime. You're still in your prime. You can't obviously think there's another team other than Golden State that you would have a better opportunity to win the championship with, right? So he can't say, yes, he feels like he has a better opportunity in Boston with those rookies, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. He can't say that. So if he says no, then now that's the trap, because you're leaving knowing that you don't have a better opportunity, which means you're leaving for selfish reasons, which also mean in order for you to be selfish like that, you wanted to get away from LeBron. So they're going to try to get to that Kyrie versus LeBron storyline some way, somehow. And Kyrie Irving won't give it to him. And that's what pisses them off.
Well, when you think about the journey, and then you also put things into perspective for what they really are, it's a truthful environment, and I wasn't getting that. And that's where it really stands.
But when you say it wasn't a truthful environment, is that pointing to the coaching, Tyronn Lue? Is that pointing to GM? Is that pointing to ownership? Just to be clear.
No.
Okay, that's not at all.
No, it's pointing to the perspective. It's pointing to the perspective that I know exactly what I want, and I want to be happy and perfect my craft in doing so.
These answers not good enough for them. They can't use this like they want to. They piss, so they keep coming back to that same stuff. That line of questioning is supposed to be done. We already asked you, did you leave because of LeBron? He in so many words, he said no. Next question. Let's go to the next thing. They never got to Boston.
Let me go someplace else. Did you speak to LeBron James or talk to LeBron James before you and your representatives met with ownership and let them know that you wanted out?
No.
Why not?
Why would I have to?
I'm not saying, no. I'm not implying that you have to at all.
Yeah.
But he's the best player in the world. He's a superstar. He's considered the leader of the team. Your teammate, who you speak glowingly and very highly about. And if you don't want to play there anymore, even though it was a personal decision, chances are, if you don't speak to somebody about it, they might take it personally.
Yeah.
Do you care about that at all?
No.
It's his future, his life.
Kyrie, I think that we're forgetting one important thing. I think we're getting one important thing.
Okay, sure.
Stephen A., as you sit up here, and Molly and Max, as you guys are professionals, I don't think that you owe anything to another person in terms of figuring out what you want to do with your life. And it's not anything personal. I'm not here to tirade anybody. I'm not here to go at any particular person or the organization, because I have nothing but love for Cleveland. Like, I have nothing but love for the times that I spent there. There's nothing about that. It comes a time where you mature as an individual. It's time to make that decision. And there is no looking back from that standpoint. There is no time to figure out how to save someone's feelings when ultimately you have to be selfish in that and figuring out what you want to do. And
all right, so that's the end of that, right? Now, my opinion is that that started the media versus Kyrie hate. They was trying to nail him down with that. Kyrie wouldn't do it, so now they're mad, and that's why they kept saying he thinks he's smarter than everybody. He thinks he's smarter than what he is. He calls us peons and all this stuff, because Kyrie probably felt like I outsmarted y'all. Y'all called me on here to ambush me. I didn't let y'all ambush me the way y'all thought y'all was going to do it. And they pissed off, and they still got their axe to grind with Kyrie Irving. And that's the entire media, because they felt like he embarrassed them. How do I know they felt like that? Because the next day they invited Will Cain on, and Will Cain spoke for everybody in the media and pretty much gave us exactly how they felt about their interview. This is Will Cain.
No, it's my job to tell the truth. And the truth of the matter is that Kyrie Irving yesterday brought out a wheelbarrow full of BS, took out a shovel and threw it on this table and expected you three to eat it up with a smile. He condescendingly looked at all of you, especially you, Max, and suggested somehow he's above questioning. The last clip he played said, just respect his decision as a man. Well, no. What we do is analyze, sometimes criticize, and try our best to understand a pseudo-philosophical, cryptic, dodging demeanor that he brought out here to evade every single tough question. Set aside that he considers himself apparently some kind of philosopher king that can weave word salads around every question you guys asked. He contradicted himself within a matter of multiple questions. Stephen A., at one point you asked him, he said, it was so hurtful that he was on his China trip and his trade request comes out. And you pressed and you said, hurtful, why? From who? And he said, who cares? Are you kidding me?
Yeah. You care, you're hurt.
Yeah, you care, Kyrie. That's what's very clear here. But yet you look down your nose with half-closed eyes and act like somehow you spun some philosophy to us. He talked about being a team player, and it's bigger than one man. And yet at the same time says, no, I didn't have to tell LeBron anything. I mean, many people point out LeBron didn't do that for Dwyane Wade. So what? Two wrongs make a right. Consistently, Kyrie contradicted himself. And the truth of the matter is this: there was more insight and there was more honesty, Max, in his anger towards you than anything else in that entire interview. The fact that he's so mad at you, Max, I think reveals everything that's motivating Kyrie. He clearly has heard your criticism of him. By the way, he knows what second banana means. Another condescending, absurd.
I don't know, Will. Do you think he does? He thinks the world is flat.
He knows
the earth is flat.
So that's the beginning of it. That's they just took shots at Kyrie Irving, and this is him before the season even started with Boston. They're just taking their shots and taking their shots and taking their shots, and this just kept going every time his name was brought up. There was nothing good to say about Kyrie Irving. And then the season started. First game, I can't remember who they played, but oh man, it was sad because Gordon Hayward went up for an alley-oop. And they got Gordon Hayward from Utah. I think he had made one All-Star. They brought him over there to be the number 2 behind Kyrie Irving. They just drafted Tatum. They drafted Brown the year before. So they got some young bucks. They got Terry Rozier that's up and coming. They had Marcus Smart. They had Al Horford. Like, this team was in a good position. And they came out and they lost Gordon Hayward the first game. And they got out to a slow start, I think maybe 0-2. And then they went on a huge run where they won, I want to say 12 straight, 13 straight. And then, they was like 13-3. And then next thing you know, they like 25-5. And they had the best record in the East. Kyrie Irving was in the MVP discussion. And then Kyrie was playing on that hurt knee that he needed to clean up. And it got to the point where I just can't keep going. I can't keep draining my knee every game. He had to elect to have surgery right around maybe before the All-Star break. Right, just before the All-Star break. And then, of course, the rest is history. Jason Tatum as a rookie, Jaylen Brown as a second-year player. They had to learn real fast on the fly. No Gordon Hayward. And then Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum look like really great ball players. They get to the playoffs, and they get all the way to the conference finals. Right? So that's how that went. But all while this is going on, the media still don't look at Kyrie in a positive light, right? If it was something bad that you could say about him, they would say it, right? So that's how that was going, right?
But I have been on the record, Ken.
So then the next season comes. When the next season comes, you got Gordon Hayward coming back from his surgery, from his bad break of his leg and his knee, and you got Kyrie Irving coming back from his surgery. So what happens when you bring in 2 guys to be your number 1 and your number 2, and then one gets gruesomely injured and the other one has surgery and misses the rest of the season, and then they come back after Jaylen Brown, a second-year player, and Jason Tatum, a rookie, got them to the conference finals. How do you put that toothpaste back in the tube? How do you tell Tatum, Brown, how do you tell Marcus Smart and Rozier, who play both point guard positions? You're already telling Rozier, hey, I know you were starting. I know you was getting big minutes, but Kyrie Irving's coming back, and he's a top 75 player of all time. Should be. He's an all-star. He's a superstar. So we know Terry Rozier and Marcus Smart expect their minutes to be cut, but what do you tell to these small forwards and these shooting guards and Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown? What do you tell them about Gordon Hayward? Because now they've shown, obviously, they both better than Gordon Hayward, even when he was healthy. Right? Now, I know he's the vet and he's getting the money, but they've shown I'm probably your better option. And we just got you to the conference finals. Now, that's him if he's healthy. He wasn't even healthy. He's coming back from a leg injury that's not only the surgery and the rehab, learning how to walk again, run again, and then getting it strong enough for you to play. And then now you got to come out here and defend on a high level. And come on, that's tough. And what happens? Brad Stevens brings him back and throws him right back in the starting lineup. Right back in the starting lineup, and takes Brown to the bench and steal some of Tatum minutes, and they confused. Like, we just got you to the conference finals against LeBron. How are we going back to the bench and this dude leg ain't even 100% yet? Well, don't forget Brad Stevens was Gordon Hayward's coach at Butler in college. So it's personal. So that caused a rift in the locker room. What did the media do when that rift got started in the locker room? They blamed Kyrie Irving for it. And despite Jason Tatum being on the record explaining that it wasn't Kyrie Irving's fault, the media still blamed. And still to this day, when they start talking about what's wrong with Kyrie Irving, they still go back to Boston and say he messed up Boston and blah, blah. And it never was his fault. Here's Jason Tatum explaining that.
I want to follow up on that second year, that 2018-2019 team, because there's a lot of speculation about that season, about that locker room. And you just said, I think, something to the effect of we couldn't figure out. Why do you think that is? Why could that team never fully gel into what it could have been?
It was a combination of, Kyrie and Gordon coming back. And, they were, obviously we know what Kai's capable of, but, Gordon was coming off an all-star the year before and was and still is, a very, very good player. But then you have myself and JB and Terry that, naturally we wanted more. We were young and, we knew what we just, accomplished and how close we got. We wanted more. We wanted to be, the guys. And everybody was, I think, a little, resistant of, instead of like, no, like we're all playing for the same goal. We're all going to get paid. We're all going to be all-stars or whatever. And I think life would just be better if we all win, like we win a championship. And I think everybody played a part in that. I know I did for sure. As bad as I wanted to win, I wanted to be, all right, we all knew Kyle was the best player, but I wanted to be number two. And I take responsibility for, some of those things. But just looking back on it, especially, the Warriors not even being full strength in the championship, of like, you can't help but think like that could have been us.
The key words he said is we all knew Kyle was the best player, but we all was fighting to be his number two. I'm trying to prove that I'm the Scottie Pippen. Tatum wanted to be number two. Brown wanted to be number two. Hayward wanted to be number two, and the coach gave him number two automatically because he got signed to be a number two. So you got three guys that play the same position, all wanted to be number two behind Kyrie. Then you got Al Horford, who was a freaking all-star the year before he got to Boston. I'm pretty sure he wanted to be in the mix. And then you got Terry Rozier, who in the playoffs was looking like he was unstoppable. So I know he probably felt like I might not be able to be the number two. I want to be the number two, but at least I can be the getting the minutes. But he's fighting for backup minutes with Marcus Smart. Because if you starting Hayward, Tatum, and Kyrie Irving on your perimeter, when Kyrie comes out, that's Marcus Smart coming in. Where's the minutes for Rozier? Unless you playing Smart and Rozier together, which was, a small lineup, but it was chaotic. The young guys got too good too fast because Kyrie and Gordon had to sit down with injuries, and Brown and Tatum found out that, oh man, we can do this thing. They thought they was going to have to wait 2 or 3 years, and by that time you probably could let Hayward walk in free agency and just slide Tatum and Brown right in there and keep it moving with Kyrie. But they was on an accelerated pace. They got too good too fast. So now they're blame. I know y'all remember this. They blamed Kyrie Irving for Boston. And the media talked about him and said, oh man, he's messing the locker room up. The only thing Kyrie Irving did is supported the veteran who was Gordon Hayward, which is the coach's choice. And he told the young guys, it's not y'all turn yet. He's an all-star. The coach chose him. It's not your turn yet. Be a good teammate and fall in line. He was trying to get the locker room in order. He wasn't the one who disrupted it. And that came out of Tatum's own mouth. And that was probably a year after Kyrie left Boston, where he did that interview and said that. This year, Gordon Hayward was on the podcast and he was asked about it, and he told the same exact story. So that's two people. But remember, the media told us Kyrie Irving messed his locker room up. So now you got Boston fans mad at Kyrie, which is the reason why he had to come out there and say, I'm staying here if y'all will have me, because the rumblings was rumbling. We got to the conference final last year. Why we ain't playing well right now? The locker room was broken because people was backbiting and fighting to be number 2 behind Kyrie. He got blamed for all of that. So Danny Ainge had to come out and tell the media, trust me, it's not Kyrie's fault. And Stephen A. Smith knew it wasn't Kyrie's fault, because of what I'm about to play for you is him explaining that he knows not Kyrie's fault, right? But this was also toward the end of the season when Stephen A. Smith was getting word from people in New York for the Knicks that Kyrie might come to the Knicks. He knew he was leaving Boston. He said he might come to the Knicks. So Stephen A. Smith had started to ease off of Kyrie a little bit because he thought he was going to be a Knick. He didn't want to damage his name too much because I thought he was going to be a Knick, right? Until he found out that they was going to Brooklyn, and then he started ramping back up on him again. But this is him when he thought he was going to be a Knick.
But I have been on the record, Kenny, saying this on numerous occasions. I blame Brad Stevens, who I have profound respect for, Brad Stevens and Danny Ainge, because I thought their season went awry the second they insisted on Gordon Hayward being inserted into that starting lineup, knowing good and damn well he wasn't ready. Having said all of that, I also said I wanted to start off this segment because the other day I reported I'm hearing that Kyrie Irving basically wants to go to Brooklyn. He's trying to convince KD to come to Brooklyn with him. Obviously, KD is the alpha dog here. It ain't Kyrie. So if KD wants to stay in Golden State, he stays. If he wants to go to the Knicks, Kyrie will probably follow him, but Kyrie's trying to get him to go to Brooklyn, and that's the fear the Knicks have and stuff like that. So Kyrie's all over the place. But in the end, Kyrie ain't going back to Boston.
Wow.
Not from what I'm hearing. He's not going back to Boston. And I think a big reason why you talk about these young guys and everybody's talking about what the disruptive force Kyrie has been. I will remind everybody that Boston was flowing and people all over the basketball world were raving about Kyrie his first year there because of the leadership he was showing, the way that they were playing. They were en route to having a successful season before he went down. And obviously they still made their run to the Eastern Conference Finals where they lost to the Cavaliers in Game 7. So that it wasn't like Kyrie's first year was last season. Kyrie's first year was that year, and he was leading them, and they were doing great. This past year, there were things that entered the equation from a bureaucratic perspective, as far as I'm concerned, justifying Gordon Hayward's contract. Brad Stevens, that's the man he coached at Butler in college. We want to make sure we take care of him. And you had cats like Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and others sitting there looking at him going like, nice guy, we love him. And when he get healthy, we got all the faith in the world with him. But clearly he's not ready, and you're asking us to take a back step in order to ingratiate him back into the proceedings. You had guys that had a problem with that, and it's my contention that had a lot to do with Boston's struggles last season.
Well,
so even Stephen A. Smith at that time knew that what Boston was going through didn't have anything to do with Kyrie. He explained that it was Gordon Hayward coming back and not being ready and taking everybody's minutes as well. Stephen A. Smith knew that. But once he got to Brooklyn, Stephen A. Smith was the main catalyst behind when he started to run down this list of things that Kyrie has done so bad. He continues to bring up Boston and say that he messed up Boston's locker room, when he just admitted right there he knew what it really was. Ain't that unique? Ain't that something else? Like, let that sink in. Just think about that, right? So he knew it wasn't Kyrie. So that's my whole point. It started from this Cleveland thing. They was on him the whole time he was in Boston because they was mad at him about how everything went down when he left Cleveland, and then how he treated them when he did the interview. And then when they started criticizing him so much, I think Kyrie might have tweeted, that there was peons and all that stuff, and that made him real mad. So he had a target on his back from the entire media. There was nobody in the media that was not on board with throwing darts at Kyrie Irving, right?
first of all, you don't.
So we fast forward, he leaves Boston, he gets to Brooklyn, and Stephen A. Smith thought they was going to New York. He don't go to New York. Stephen A. Smith is mad, telling everybody that he knew for a fact that Kevin Durant wanted to go to the Knicks, and Kyrie Irving talked him out of it and talked him into going to Brooklyn. So he's mad that he missed out on the opportunity to get KD and Kyrie in New York, and Kyrie was the reason for it. So he started going back on attack mode, right? And then the rest is history. We know what happened. 2020 come, he don't take the vax, and then everybody started throwing darts at him again, just letting it go on him, right? Here's Barkley. Remember I said earlier, Barkley, said that the vax wasn't the big issue. It was that tweet you sent out with that anti-Semitic movie, quote unquote, right? But here he is absolutely saying the vax is the issue.
First of all, you don't get the vaccine for yourself. You get it for other people.
No, I'm not saying.
Hold on, brother. You said your piece.
No, I didn't say you do.
I got vaccinated. I can't wait to get the booster. You don't get vaccinated just for yourself. Like Adam said, you get vaccinated for your family first. You get vaccinated for your teammates second, things like that. That's what bothers me about this whole thing. I think everybody should get vaccinated. And let me tell you something, I really am proud of the Nets for putting their foot down, for saying, no, we're not going to deal with this half on, half off. The only thing that bugged me, he's still going to make $17 million sitting at home. I wish they could find a way, if he wants to go on this thing, like, people say he's like Ali. First of all, don't ever compare anybody to Ali. Ali went 3 years without boxing. He was the highest paid athlete in the world. This guy going to make $17 million for sitting at home. But to every person out there, you don't get vaccinated just for yourself. Let's get that out the way.
Hindsight being 2020, was Barkley right or was Kyrie right? He's telling me, oh man, you can't refuse the vax, and you being selfish. You're supposed to get the vax for everybody else, right? Hindsight being 2020, we know that's wrong, and that's why he said he just brushed over the vax when he was talking about it early, and he was like it was the movie tweet. The vax, man, you can do what you want to do, but that ain't what he was saying before. So he was. You see how animated he is? Like, he knew the facts. Like, I know for a fact I'm right, and I know for a fact that Kyrie is wrong. Like, in situations like that, and you're a basketball analyst, not someone who studies medicine, not someone who studies vaccines, not someone who studies viruses or pandemics or none of that. You're not an expert on none of that. You're not supposed to be discussing this on a scale of that magnitude on the NBA platform. Why are we discussing the vax on the NBA platform? And if you do discuss it, it needs to be very, very light and surface level, not with that much enthusiasm. Like, what the hell you talking about. And in hindsight being you just loud and wrong. In hindsight being 2020, we know you loud and wrong, and we know Kyrie was right. Kyrie ain't never been sick. Stephen A. Smith almost lost all his Sonic rings. Got the vax, the booster, and all that. Chuck just said, I can't wait to get my booster. Where you want to stick it at, boss? Where you want to stick it? You want it in my shoulder? I can't wait to get my booster. You want me to put my tap dancing shoes on too? Like, I just can't believe, like, that's what he was saying. I can't wait to get my booster. Stephen A. Smith almost got the Sonic rings knocked out of his ass trying to get all them daggone shots. And Kyrie Irving just chilling. Right? Kyrie Irving just chilling. Who was right? Right? So now what does this leave us? Now they got to kiss his ass. Right? Now they got to, they blowing this team out in the halftime. Look like they're going to the finals against the Boston Celtics. Right? Now they got to write stories about them. And they got to be positive. There's nothing, what else can you bring up? Everything that you threw at him and you meant for his bad actually turned out for his good. Now look at him. Everything you said, hindsight being 2020, the lie detector determined that was a lie. All of these things, like, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous, right? So now we got to talk about Kyrie Irving in honesty. Now we got to talk about him in honesty. So they left him out of the top 75. That wasn't right. He is definitely a top 75 player. The point guards they put in there over him, Dame Lillard and Westbrook, how is that working out now? Right? Hindsight being 2020, who Russell Westbrook and Dame Lillard better than Kyrie Irving? They ain't been better than Kyrie Irving a day of their life. Right? You go look at all these lists they made. The Ringer just made a list last year that had Kyrie ranked number 75 in the entire NBA. They had about 10 point guards ranked above him. Ja Morant, Trae Young, Tyrese Halliburton, Dame Lillard, Jamal Murray. They had a lot of point guards ranked above him. How that's working out now? Look like Kyrie Irving, the best point guard in the league right now. And yes, better than Steph Curry. So now we got to have this honest conversation, this honest discussion. They left him off the Olympic team as well. Tyrese Halliburton is there. Right? This is crazy. He didn't make the All-Star, left him off the All-Star team this year. This is all the stuff they're doing is doing. He taking it in strides. And then when he see you face to face, he looking you in your eyes and saying, yes, sir, no, sir. Shaking your hands firmly like his dad taught him. And this is the dude that y'all tried to destroy. Couldn't even daggone hold your heads up when you was talking to the man. Couldn't even look him in his eyes. All them dudes got paperwork on them. If they in prison, they all got paperwork on them. They all snitches, right? They're the type of dudes they are, right? So let's have a conversation about them. Let's hear Jeff T talk about how he think Kyrie Irving's top 5.
Yeah, if Kyrie get 2 rings, he get a ring without Bron. It's time for another conversation.
What's the conversation?
What?
He top 75.
He that now. He's gonna be higher.
But
he's gonna be a top 10 PG. He got 2 rings. Kyrie got to be top 10 PG all time.
Oh, I thought he was already. Maybe I'm out of pocket.
I feel that way anyway, but I'm saying as far as
I thought he was top 5. Shit, yeah, I'm out of pocket.
I'm gonna go top 10. That's my dog. I'm gonna be safe, but at this point, I don't know.
Steph Curry
1, Magic 2,
Freaky Magic, the real Magic.
Zeke 3.
Oh, I like that. I ain't gonna hold you. I actually like that.
Zeke at 3 for sure. Isaiah Thomas gets looked over way too much.
No, that is a great one.
Because he got rings when it was important.
J Kidd.
Doing J Kidd in the top 5, I fuck with it.
Is this accolade based? Yeah, I know how.
No, I'm just going off who I
Kidd top 5.
with.
Oh, okay, because I'm putting Penny in my top 5. Nigga, Penny played for 2 years. Sorry, bro. Are we going off accolades? Because if he didn't, you saying your favorite player? Like,
no, we trying to
like legit. Like Penny wouldn't even say he's top 25. Yeah. I don't know, depending on where you catch him. Pause.
Yo,
that's crazy. I did not, bro. Yeah, Penny be wilding. Pause. You're right.
Yeah. Shout out to Memphis.
Kyrie probably, if he get another chip, he top 5. He number 5.
That'd be fire.
We be missing over a lot of people, y'all.
We do.
No, because CP ain't got no chip. Steve Nash ain't got no chip. We be missing over a lot of people. I don't put no Bob Cousy, nobody like that.
I don't want to hear none of that.
I ain't no Bob Cousy because I'm taking BD over Bob Cousy. Yeah, I'm taking.
He actually ranked number 21.
Oh,
Kyrie.
That's no.
Name the PGs better than him.
Magic, Steph, Isaiah Thomas, Walt Frazier, Gary Payton, Allen Iverson, Tim Hardaway, Derrick Rose, John Stockton, Chris Paul, Steve Nash, Russell. Okay.
Russ, I do like Russ being top 10 too.
Tony Parker, Damian Lillard.
Yeah, turn it up.
Yeah, that list is disgusting.
Jason Kidd.
Kyrie Irving is better than Tony Parker.
Jerry West.
Bro, not a fucking question.
Chauncey Billups.
He's better than Chauncey too. Better than Chauncey, bro.
Kyrie's one of the best basketball players ever.
Yeah, bro. Who was top 10? Say
go from 10 on down.
Magic, Steph Curry, Isaiah Thomas, Walt Frazier, Gary Payton, Allen Iverson, Tim Hardaway.
Bro. Give me Kyrie over Gary Payton and Walt Frazier.
John Stockton, Chris
Paul.
No
shade.
Steve Nash, Russell Westbrook, Tony Parker.
Give me Westbrook over Gary Payton
all day.
Give me Westbrook over Walt Frazier. Give me Westbrook over whoever was next. Yeah, Westbrook for sure. Yeah, then give me Kyrie. I'm putting Baron Davis up there. If all them niggas is in there getting a nod, I'm putting They just won championships, and they ain't no disrespect. They are GOATs, but yeah. I'm taking BD.
It's different.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's them having that conversation about it, but I've always had my own conversation about it. I don't know why they got Steph at number 1. Nobody's better at the point guard position than Magic, right? He's going to forever be number 1. I have no idea how they left Oscar out as well. Maybe they're thinking of him as a shooting guard. I don't know. But my top 5 has always been Magic at 1, Isaiah at 2, Oscar at 3, Steph at 4, right? And that number 5 spot was always open for either J Kidd, CP3, John Stockton, or guys like that. So, however, in light of a better point guard showing up that's obviously better, I'm probably still gonna keep J Kidd at 5. But my number 6 used to be between CP3, Stockton, Nash. I'm leapfrogging those guys. All right, Tony Parker as well. I'm leapfrogging those guys with Kyrie. I'm putting Kyrie at number 6 behind J Kidd, right? And he got the opportunity to move up. So he got the opportunity to move up. But Kyrie is solidified at my number 6 right now. Solidified at my number 6. Magic, Isaiah. I don't understand how anybody can have a point guard other than Magic over Isaiah. Like, I mean, you just can't. He accomplished so much, and he was so good in a tougher era, in an era where he wasn't supposed to do what he did. Not an era who they tweaked the era just for him so he can survive, right? So in a harder era, I got to give the nod to Isaiah behind Magic, and of course Oscar. And then I'm of course going with the obvious guy in Curry at 4 for everything he's done for the game and how good he was as well. Kyrie is just as good as Curry, but his resume is not. So Kidd is at my 5. Kyrie is at my 6. Now, that's my whole spiel on Stephen A. Smith and Kyrie Irving. The phone lines are open. Call in. Give me your thoughts on Stephen A. Smith, everything with the history of Kyrie Irving and the media and Kyrie Irving as a top 5 player, all of this stuff, man. Give me a call. Let's talk about it. I really appreciate this endeavor. And I appreciate y'all being here, Eric, man, for sure. Stockton is definitely incredible, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to leave Stockton out, man. I would love to have Stockton at number 5. Man, but J Kidd's defense, man. I mean, just seeing J Kidd, some of the guys he was able to defend, man. Like I seen him play Kobe just as well as anybody could. In a playoff game with Penny Hardaway, Sean Marion, Cliff Robinson. It was a couple of guys that tried. I think KJ had just re-signed just for the playoff run. And, he wasn't in great shape, but he tried. Like, everyone tried to guard Kobe. Nobody could do it. They was trying people that was his size or bigger. I mean, you got Penny, same size as Kobe. But, after the injury, Penny's, his athleticism and agility wasn't matching Kobe. So he couldn't touch Kobe at that time. He was still a decent scorer. He still gave them good points. Sean Marion had all the athleticism in the world. I don't know why he was such a mismatch on Kobe, but he didn't stand a chance. They had to put J Kidd, the point guard, who looked like he ain't got the body to stay with Kobe, who's smaller than Kobe in height. He was the one who did a better job on them and everybody. So just that fact alone, because J Kidd and Stockton do the exact same thing on offense. They run the show. They assist the ball at a high clip. They're smart. They got a great assist to turnover ratio. They both are scrappy on defense to play defense, but I can't put daggone John Stockton on Michael Jordan and say, hey, man, do a great job. Kid did that on Kobe. Funky Town, what's up, man? Oh, hold on. Hold on. I ain't even got my Bluetooth in. Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm not. Look, I ain't even set up the way I was supposed to be set up. I'm tripping. I'm thinking I'm over here doing a good show. I'm making so many mistakes.
Now it sounds more normal.
All right, good. Can you hear me?
No, you were on one. Yeah, good, brother. How you doing tonight?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm glad you got that off your chest, man, because it sounded like you had a little backup, like you were holding on. You were holding on to that for a minute. I hear that. No, I say it like this, man. A couple things can all be true at the same time. You know what I mean? And yes, Stephen A. and a couple of these other dudes are sloppy as all get out. Like, they're messy. You know what I mean? They're still, they're like off season. They're still in space. They're talking about whatever's there to be talked about. But the issue with, in my personal opinion, with Kyrie, is he brings a lot of this stuff on himself.
Okay, let's hear it.
And this is my thing. All right. I started elementary school. They call it primary school in Australia. That joker was born in Melbourne, Australia.
Facts.
Okay. If you were in Australia, which is in the southern hemisphere, where the water spins down the drain anti-clockwise. A lot of people may not know that, but if you've ever been to the southern hemisphere, that's what water does. Where we are here in the north, it goes clockwise. It goes down the drain. You know what I mean?
Correct.
And if you're going to come out your mouth at any point in time and say that you think the earth is flat, now I got a problem with your credibility. And you're either trying to be provocative for whatever reason, or you just saying things. So for me, that was kind of the thing that kind of like, for me, I'm trying to take you serious, but I can't take you serious because facts, you can have your own opinion, but you can't have your own facts.
I kind of think you can though. What if I told you I think the earth is flat?
Do what now?
What if I told you I think the earth is flat?
Say that again. I can hear you.
I said, what if I told you that I think the earth is flat?
Then you're wrong.
And
then you are incorrect.
Right, and that'll be the end of the discussion. I stated an opinion, and you said it was wrong. Am I coming in wrong,
or are you coming in wrong? Something's breaking up when you're talking, bro. Hey, what I'm saying is, if you listen, if you want the earth to be flat, that's one thing. Okay? If you want to say you believe that the earth is flat, that's another thing. But if you want to try to state as a fact that you think that the earth is flat, then that means you can produce the facts that support that.
All right. So let me say, can you hear me good now? Can you hear me right now?
I can hear you, but you're still breaking up a little bit. Or maybe it's me. I don't know. But I'm hearing you funky. Hold on. Let me take this here. How about now? How do we sound now?
How do I sound?
So far, it's so good.
Okay.
No, but if you're gonna tell me that you believe one thing, okay, you can again believe what you want to, as a matter of faith. That's fine. I'm not going to argue with that. But if you're going to try to tell me it's a fact, no. That's the problem.
Let me say this though, because this is going down a road that is not connecting to the whole hour of what I just laid out. Right.
Yeah,
so
it does,
right.
Brother.
What I didn't mention anything about the earth being flat or anything with Kyrie.
No, I know you did.
This is basketball. Kyrie. This is basketball, and this is people who cover basketball who took it upon themselves to make him a target.
Yes, but what I'm saying is, like I said from the beginning, two things can be true. Kyrie does, or should say, when he was younger, he did say things. He did speak in a manner that some people could take as aloof, or that he thinks he's so smart that he can say anything and everything is going to be.
Yeah, but so what?
Everybody else is either just can't figure it out. Well, again.
Yeah, but so what? You can't be bothered by that. I can't come to school and say, by you coming and wearing those Cougars on your feet and not having no Nikes on, you gave me the reason to target you and pick on you all day at school. You can't say if you show up with some goofy shoes on and you and you dress funny, that don't give me the right to make you my target and dump on you all day at school.
If we're playing the dozens and I'm cutting you up over that, that's one thing. But if you busting my behind in them goofy shoes on a basketball court, that's a basketball situation. And that don't have nothing to do with anything.
Okay, and the flat, and that's the same thing about this flat Earth thing. It has nothing to do with anything.
No, it does, because what I'm saying is,
all right, we'll land the plane. Land the plane. Let me explain
when you will stand out there like that and put yourself out there like that, then you're placing yourself in a situation where your credibility and your thought process is already being put into question. So that when things happen, when the storms come, those are the type of things that people have already laid out as their beliefs on you. So then you again, you gave them that up. You decided to go there. You, for some reason, for whatever reason, you decided to say some stupid stuff like that. So then later, when other things come up, they're gonna keep going back like, oh, you just being this just to be this way, and they can make up their own mind. Now, I'm not saying they're right, and like you said, it's a basketball. If we're talking strictly basketball, that ain't what it is. But when it comes to him, some of it I believe has been unfortunate. Like when he went into Boston, he came after Isaiah Thomas, and people forget how good that brother was in Boston. And so when you go in there, yes, you had that 1 year, the first year, but then like you said, the injuries, the other drama, and all the other stuff, and so that on top of the aloofness and the other stuff that played against him. Now you got to remember, like I think we spoke about how I don't like Boston. But that's a hard-nosed town. They're that way. They don't play those type of games. It's a different situation. That fan base is what I'm talking about. Then when you go to Brooklyn, the whole, like you said, the drama. Brooklyn is a very Jewish place. If you didn't know, Brooklyn is an extremely Jewish place. So you have to, if you're going to go out on a limb on some stuff, you better be able to like explain it to that organization and that fan base.
Yeah, I'm not seeing the connection from
that open it for their interpretation.
I'm not seeing the connection. I'm not seeing the connection.
I know what you're saying. Listen, what I'm saying is they are wrong for some of the things they did, said about him and all that. I'm not disagreeing with that. What I'm saying to you is that he has placed himself out there like that. Nobody, listen, when Dennis Rodman plays, does everybody think Dennis Rodman was given the benefit of the doubt about everything?
No,
he wouldn't. Now, when he was in Detroit, he was. When everybody thought he was hard nosed, goody two shoes, a good rags to riches story, it was all good. But when he started going all crazy and doing all that other stuff, being unconventional, we'll say. You think
anything Kyrie did or said is on the level of what
you are breaking up. Say it again.
You think anything Kyrie Irving said or did is on the level of Dennis Rodman?
Again, no. What I'm saying, he's putting himself out there. Even
explain to me what that means, though. Hey, Funky Town. Yeah. Hang up, then call right back. Let me see if I can clear that, because when you call that, I was just hooking my Bluetooth up. Maybe because I'm looking at it in only one leg of you coming in different. Just hang up and call right back.
Got it.
All right. Yeah, I don't know. Can y'all hear me fine? Yeah. So look, I don't know. So we went straight to flat Earth when he called, and somehow we're trying to tie that in. All right, how you hear me now?
I hear you a little better.
All right, now you better too. Yeah, that fixed it. All right, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. What I'm saying is he courted controversy, is what it is, and I'm not. And again, he has every right to do that.
But
okay,
hold on,
got every right to do that.
So name the things that he did that was controversial that deserve critique.
Okay, the flat earther thing that did.
So when he said that deserved critique from the NBA media.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
No. For me, okay. Listen, I'm just saying, if you're living in this world right now, that's just a stupid thing to say.
No,
okay,
it's
like
not. No, it's not.
It is.
No. Listen what I'm saying. In a perfect world, no, that wouldn't be a stupid thing to say. But this world that we created, this BS that we created, where you can't say nothing that you believe, this world. Okay, hold on, bro. In this world that we created, I can't meet you on the street and then call you a man unless I ask you, are you a man? I have to be politically correct. So you're telling me that
it's not a politically correct thing.
He needs to conform. You telling me that
I'm listening.
Okay, you're telling me again, bro. You're telling me that Kyrie Irving needs to conform to the BS that we've created, and he don't want to conform to that, and I'm with it.
Okay, listen. If we have what's called a lunar eclipse. Yes, you heard of lunar eclipse?
Dude, I don't study astrology. I can care less about the lunar eclipse.
No. What I'm trying to explain. Do you know what a lunar eclipse is?
I do, but I don't.
Okay, a lunar eclipse is when the Earth's shadow passes in front of the moon, and it eclipses the moon. Versus a solar eclipse, which is the opposite. The moon goes in front of
Funky Time. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't believe in the moon. I'm gonna be honest with you. So this conversation. I mean, this conversation is going nowhere. Like we can't listen. We can't be having.
You don't believe in the moon?
I don't. I don't think it's a real moon. So there's no point of us having a basketball conversation about Kyrie Irving and we start talking about astrology,
we
stars, and moon. No, I can care less.
You see the moon.
I can care less.
Okay.
It's not on the basketball court. If the moon was on the basketball court, I believe in it. I'm
trying to answer your question.
No, but in this conversation, until I see the moon come down and dribble a ball and score on Kyrie Irving, the moon is irrelevant.
It is to the point of the flat
no, it's
earth.
not.
It's
not. The flat earth is not even relevant.
But it is. Listen,
brother. It's not relevant.
Live in a world, brother. If you live in a world where something casts a shadow, the shape of a circle, the only way that you can get a shape of a circle is if a three-dimensional sphere is in that space.
But listen to what I'm saying.
Hold on. If it was a flat surface that was a circle, it doesn't cast a shadow that way.
But listen to what I'm saying.
That's called logic.
No, but listen to what I'm saying. It's not relevant because even if you can prove that the earth is round, there's no connection to the treatment that Kyrie Irving got for believing that it's flat. Like you can state all the facts you want about the earth being round. There's no connection.
How does the water stay?
Listen, you're not listening
to
me.
If it's flat.
Wait, you're not listening. There's no connection to the earth being round or flat to the treatment that Kyrie Irving got from the media. There's no connection to that. So why are you trying to prove that? Why are we having a conversation about the earth when we're talking about the media's treatment?
What I'm saying is, listen, if you're gonna go public and say something as crazy as that, then you're gonna be treated like you're crazy.
Oh my God!
If you're gonna
so how should we treat Charles Barkley for saying this vaccine is necessary? Crazy?
That we live in a world where we all went to school that happen to have vaccines?
No, crazy.
Every last one of us.
But hindsight being 2020, Charles Barkley's wrong, right? Hindsight being 2020, right? Charles is wrong, right? The vaccine the vax didn't do nothing. Did you get it? Did you get it?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. And that's why you're advocating for it. But in my life, unvaxxed lives matter.
Bruh, it's not even about an advocate. It's a fact that I've had my whole life. I've been vaccinated since I was born.
Have you been vaccinated? Have you been vaccinated with a vaccine that's 3 days old since you've been born? Or was this stuff that had been circulating?
I had to get the anthrax while I was in the military for a certain mission. And I did.
But you wouldn't have got it if you didn't have to. You couldn't deny it. I got it as well in the military.
I ain't never. Hold on, I ain't never volunteered to go take no vaccine.
we getting off topic, and this is the most emotional I've heard you on the topic because you can't even let me drive the show as the host because you're trying to get your point across, and I'm trying to show. I'm not. Listen. If I'm talking and you continue to cut me off, that means that you've been emotional about it.
I'm not emotional.
Listen, what I'm saying is there's no need to talk about the earth on this conversation, on this topic. It's not relevant.
Brother, I'm only answering your question.
No. My statement is it's not relevant. What's relevant is everything I mentioned in the rundown. The media's treatment of Kyrie Irving and how they're coming back and backpedaling and how Stephen A. Smith gave a false, fake apology. Do you have anything to add? Do you have anything to add on that topic?
I've stated they were sloppy. They were wrong. They were filling air. They were doing that thing. They were doing the bidding of their corporate masters. All that. I'm not disagreeing with you at all. But what I'm saying is that there's two things can be true at the same time. That for some of this he ain't completely innocent. I'll just not say innocent. He's not completely uninvolved with how this whole thing broke down.
Yes, he is.
It ain't just
He
all
is.
this happened to him.
No, he
He
is.
was an active participant, brother.
No,
he was an active participant in certain things.
And so
Yeah, no, he did.
so is great victims. Right?
That's
what you sound like. That skirt was too short. No. The skirt was too short. No. Don't backpedal now. Don't backpedal now. No.
Like that.
The skirt was too short, right?
I'm not trying to put him in any situation like that.
The skirt was too short. The skirt was too short, right? You asked for it.
No.
You shouldn't have been out that late.
No.
Okay.
No. I'm saying
that's what you sound like.
If you're gonna stand on business, stand on business.
He did stand on business. Did he get the vax? He did. Did he get the vax? Did he get? Hold on. Did he get the vax? Did he get the vax?
Did who?
Did Kyrie Irving get the vax?
According to him, no.
Okay. Did he backpedal?
You know what?
Did he backpedal? Funky Town. You gotta let Funky Town. I don't want to raise my voice, man. You gotta let me talk. Did he get the vax? The answer is no. Did he backpedal? No. Did he backpedal and say, I don't believe the earth is flat. I believe it's round? No. Right? Everything that he said, he stood on. He took his punishments and his lumps. He let people talk about him. He lost his contract. Okay. He lost his money. He got traded. He did all of that. He took it on the chin and he built himself back up. Now, hindsight being 2020, we see who the real men are and we see who the fake ones are. I think that's the net of everything. I agree with you.
I agree. No, again, in the net, I agree with what you're saying exactly. But what I'm trying to say to you is, he has done things that have put himself out on that limb and put himself in those situations.
But why would you mention that at this time? Why would this dude go almost 2 years with no incident and get his team to the finals of the NBA?
You're breaking up, brother.
And then we bring this up, and then you want to say he's not innocent. Why even bring that up?
Because, bro, people in our community and other communities, his Native American community, he's so, like the actual facts, people died. Over 1 million Americans died. And you bringing up whatever happened to him, that's one thing.
People died.
1 million Americans died of COVID. 1 million Americans died of COVID. 1 million.
Okay, and
1
what?
million.
Did they have? So then, hold on. Did they have the vax?
Not because
wait.
No, they didn't have the vax, brother.
They didn't have the vax.
Man, I got a next door neighbor who's a survivalist that wouldn't take the vax.
They didn't have the vax. How many people died?
They buried him a year and a half ago.
How many people died that had the vax? Because I heard it was more.
No, ain't no.
Wait. So you studied. So you studied the number of people who died that didn't have the vax, but you have no clue about the people who died who had the vax. That's interesting. Wait. Did you study Did you study the amount of people who died? Hold on. Did you study the amount of people who died who they said it was COVID related, but it wasn't? Did you study that? Come on, we can't have this conversation. But I appreciate the phone call, man. But I got to move to a next caller and to the next one.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, next caller. I mean, and Funky Town is one of my value listeners. So don't take that we had a disagreement as anything bad. You know, the only reason why I had to get him out the phone is because I want to get another call in here, and I don't want to go back and forth because I'm not here to have a COVID conversation. Like, I'm not here to have a flat earth conversation. Right? I'm here to have a conversation about Stephen A. Smith and all the things he said about this man, now backpedaling and giving out fake apologies. Chris, what's up?
What's going on, Mel?
What's good? Can you hear me fine?
Yes, sir.
All right, go ahead.
What's your topic, man? You talking about Kyrie Irving and the scrutiny and the media?
Sure.
I mean, pretty much it started when he left LeBron James to Cleveland.
Right.
Everybody was trying to figure out why did he leave. And, some people don't think about how toxic it is playing with LeBron. And, just the attention he get when he wins, he get all the recognition. But when you lose, it's your fault. And, along with LeBron trying to treat him like a son or a little brother. Kyrie just couldn't take that. So him going to the Celtics, and then him underperforming against the Bucks when he had Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and all of them. They ended up making it the first year without him. And I think they went to the Eastern Conference Finals. Am I right?
Yeah, the year he was out there, they went to the conference finals.
Yeah. And then he came back, and then they didn't go as far with him, and they made it farther without him. And then he did the "if you have me, I'll stay," which he was pretty much telling the Celtics, like, "Hey, if you guys want me, I'll stay."
Right. If you want me, if you want me.
Yeah.
Right. If you want me.
Yeah, so he got the fans wanted him to stay. And then he left anyway. So, of course, how the Celtics, the people in Boston, I'm not saying everybody, but there's them people, let's just say they take the game seriously. I'm not going to be like, oh, everybody in Boston racist. I'm not going to go there. I don't know anything about Boston, but they don't play when it comes to, the Celtics. I'll just say that. Then he started.
Wait. Hey, you about to give me the whole rundown of Kyrie? Because I just did that like for like an hour.
My bad. You get the point.
Yeah, get to your point in like 10 seconds, man.
I got you. But pretty much, man, Kyrie kind of had a disappointing career, man, because as far as his talent goes, he could have challenged Steph Curry and Magic Johnson. As far as his talent, man,
he still can.
Kyrie, it's kind of too late now because he's kind of older now.
I mean, it depends on how you grading it. If you grading it just on paper, then maybe. If you just grading on paper, but if you grading the player, because at the end of the day, he still is perfecting his craft and practicing his craft. And if you just look at the craft and how it displays it on the court and how he displays it against top defenses and top players and on the biggest stage like the playoffs, then he grades just as high as Steph Curry, is not higher.
They snubbed him off the top 75, though.
Of course they did. But we already know why.
They snubbed him.
Yeah, of course. They're going to keep snubbing him off everything. They snubbed him off the Olympic team as well. They're going to keep snubbing him. But, they don't mean that you have to take that into account when you're evaluating a player.
And then also the way he comes at the media guys, he used to. He hasn't been doing it lately, but, telling the media guys they peons. A lot of those media guys.
And he didn't lie, and they are.
Yeah, but you can't do that, man. A lot of them, some of those media guys got a lot of connections in the NBA, man.
And we seen that they use those connections against Kyrie. That's the whole point of this whole string. They used the media got butthurt and mad at Kyrie Irving, and they used all the weapons that they had to destroy him. And now look at him. Cream always rises to the top. They wanted to do this man like they did Stephon Marbury. He was too good and too blessed for that to happen.
Right.
And I think that's what it goes. But thanks for the call, man. I'm gonna go to the next caller. Thank you. Yeah, Zoe, call back. My bad. I tried to answer just now. Call back, Zoe. I tried to answer just now, but it hung up. So call back. And that was another number from New York that called too. As soon as Zoe call in and I'm done with him, you can call back as well. Matter of fact, I'll call Zoe back. Yeah. But Funky Town, if you're still in the comment section, man, Zoe, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear, my brother.
All right, good. What's up, man? What's your thoughts?
Man, where do I begin? Definitely, first I want to say If you're in the comments right now, go ahead and hit that like, comment, subscribe, share, do all of the good things that we like for y'all to do when y'all in there. In my opinion, and we got some strong opinions in it today, Kyrie Irving has been the poster child for how they intend to treat people. I don't know if people in the comments, and I ain't gonna get in too much detail, what buck breaking is. It's been if you have if you stand on something, if you have morals, principles, and things that you believe in, and you are going against what we like to call a machine or the powers that be, they're going to do any and everything that they can to try to break you out of that to where you can conform. You know, there's been a lot of things, and I don't think that Kyrie Irving, contrary to popular belief, I don't think he's done anything to deserve the kind of scrutiny that he's gotten. I don't care that he thinks the earth is flat, number one, because there are people who believe in Jesus. There are people who believe in Buddha. There are people who believe in the plants being the God of the earth. There are people who believe in a ton of things. I don't go to Kyrie for his beliefs. I enjoy the game of basketball, and he's free to believe whatever he believes as far as this earth is concerned. Why is that a reason to believe? Why is that a reason to bash him? Why? Well, I don't understand the justification. I don't understand the people who feel like it's a justification. And Funky Time, that's our dog. Yeah. But at the end of the day, him stating that he believes the earth is flat, that doesn't mean, okay, now I have the green light. Do you constantly go against Christians or people of the Muslim faith because of they believe something that you may not believe in?
Correct.
And let me tell you something. This joking, but it's not. Neil Armstrong went to the moon. Why we ain't been back?
And you do you remember when, right? Like I want to say 6 months after Kyrie said the earth flat or said the earth was flat, did you know that Steph Curry went on CJ McCollum's podcast and they asked him, what's the biggest conspiracy theory that you believe? And he said, I don't think we went to the moon. And ESPN and CNN came the next day and they started to turn Steph Curry into the new Kyrie Irving. Steph Curry and whoever his advisors was could not handle that heat at all. So he caved in, set up a meeting with NASA to go and look at and hold some moon rocks.
I remember that.
And then he came out and tweeted pretty much, I no longer believe that we didn't go to the moon. I felt the moon rocks. We absolutely went to the moon because of some freaking moon rocks.
Mm-hmm. Buck breaking. They made him go on there and they made him conform to whatever I don't care about your beliefs. When you publicly say things like this, you can't be our poster child. You can't be the face. You can't be representing this brand that we have because now they're going to associate what you believe with this brand. So we're going to do everything to discredit you. We're going to do everything to try to pour dirt on your name. And Josiah, that dude is going to get whatever he deserves because at the end of the day, what they did to him in Brooklyn, and they did everything to him. He was a dude who stood on principles and morals and stood on the business that he stood on. That is respectable as a man. I'm a grown man too. And so if I say something, I want to follow through with it because at the end of the day, this is what I believe. If I just conform just because I get a little pushback, was it really my stance to begin with? Not at all. Yeah. So at the end of the day, he did absolutely nothing to deserve the things that and I love that picture. I might put it as my background with Kyrie standing there, sweaty, legs gapped open, paws, and all these dudes looking down. Real dudes command the room when they walk in.
Exactly.
Real dudes command the room when they walk in, and you know you was flawed for the things that you said based on this another man's belief.
Yeah.
Like you said these things based on another man's belief, but the people who do that the most are people who can't stand on beliefs of their own. Man, Mel, you killing it, bro. That's all I got to say. I ain't going to take too much time, brother.
Man, thanks for the call, bro. Appreciate it.
All right.
I take probably 2 more calls before I move on to JJ Redick. 2 more calls. Let's get some calls in here. Yeah, Steph Curry. Y'all got to go back and look at that, man. Steph Curry could not take that heat at all, man. Kyrie Irving took it on the chin, but Steph Curry was like, oh, hell no, y'all ain't about to mess my brain up. And he went and fixed that real quick and said, nah, we went to the moon several times. I know we went to the moon. Forget about the Van Halen belts that are there that is gases that they got so much radiation that we can't safely pass through it, but somehow we safely pass through it in the freaking 50s, but we don't have the technology to do it again. Caller from New York, what's up?
Hey, what's going on? Can you hear me?
Yeah,
are you kind of breaking up?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah. I wanted to call in earlier, but your last caller pretty much nailed everything I wanted to say. But he had some great points. The caller previously to that, I have to also disagree. Kyrie was definitely punished. He was made an example of, and his actions did not warrant any of that. There's a slew of evidence that would support everything he said about the movie he posted.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot. I don't even know where to start. I'll say this: if you look up the word Israeli,
mm-hmm.
it's someone who lives or who resides in Israel. It has nothing to do with the heritage or the lineage. And if you look up Israelite, it pertains to Abraham.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot that you could pull from what he said. And they accused him of being anti-Semitic. He said, "How can I be anti-Semitic when I know who I am?"
Correct.
He never said anything at all about the video. He just posted it.
Correct.
And it really shows, to me, it shows that what he's saying is true, because they're trying to shut him up, and it's obvious they're trying to shut him up, and they're trying to punish him.
Correct.
I think I wasn't a Kyrie Irving fan before all of that, because he played in Cleveland and, LeBron. So I was like, eh. But after watching all of this, I hope that they walk away with the championship.
Yeah.
Because now they have to praise him, and they have to talk about him. They have to talk to him, and we get to see them kind of wallow in that a little bit more.
Correct.
So, that's all I have to say. The other caller pretty much.
Those are all good points, man. That's a good call, man. Make sure you subscribe and continue to call in, man, because I appreciated that perspective.
Sorry, I'm not hearing you. I have to watch it on the playback, I guess.
Okay, all right, man. Maybe I got something going on with my phone. I apologize, but yeah, thank you for the call.
Yeah, but good show, Mel.
Thank you.
All right.
Yep. I don't know what's going on with my phone, man. Evidently, people can't hear me too well. I don't know what's going on with it. I don't know if it's my signal or whatever, but yeah. Let's get one more call. Yeah, that was a good call. And Doc, thanks for that correction, man. The Van Allen belts. My bad. I don't know where I got Van Halen from. Van Halen, is that a rock band? Van Halen? I don't know. Caller from California, what's up?
What's up, man? So we still on the Kyrie?
Sure, yeah.
All right. So I mean, I think everybody was much in agreement with, everybody hated on Kyrie. The world hated on Kyrie. I kind of want to pivot it back to his ranking of the all-time. I think he's a great talent. I think a lot of the basketball analysts use a lot of recency bias to pump up the game, which is great. We need more eyeballs, but I also think that Kyrie Irving struggled a lot, especially in between LeBron leaving Cleveland and now. And so there was a lot of ups and downs. There was injuries and stuff. And when we're comparing the all-time great point guards, one thing that we can say about the all-time great point guards is they were very, very durable. They were very, very dependable. And year in, year out, you could count in on the same performance every single year, because a lot of the point guards were the leaders of the team. And so I think right now what we're seeing is like this peak form Kyrie that everybody is really rooting for, as far as on the basketball, as far as like his, philosophical beliefs and all that. I felt like he kept it real. He's one of the truest individuals you can have in the NBA. But I think as far as a player, he had a lot of ups and downs, and maybe the powers that be has something to do with that. But I think that his performance on the floor does not grant him top 5 all time. No way.
I said top 6, and I disagree with everything you said.
Okay.
So this durability that you claim he didn't have. Well, first of all, let's address the first thing you said about him in between LeBron and now him having struggles? What was his struggles? Just the injuries? That's it?
I mean, I
No. Hold on.
I mean,
That's a direct question.
downs.
Wait. Direct question. Is it just the injuries, or when he got on the floor, he couldn't perform?
I would say overall injuries and wins and losses.
What you mean wins and losses? When did he have an issue with losses after he left Cleveland?
Dang, you breaking up right now. Hold on. Say that again.
When did he have an issue with losses when he left Cleveland?
In Brooklyn. Brooklyn, that was a disaster.
But it was a disaster because
Brooklyn was a disaster, man. And
wait.
Uh-huh.
It was a disaster because of injuries.
But it was it was still a disaster.
Wait. Because of injuries. Name one point guard who injuries didn't mess up their season. If you want to go to Steph Curry, someone who's playing in his era, let's talk about Steph Curry. His first 2-3 years, how was it? Ankle injuries, ankle surgeries. Right.
Mm-hmm.
What was Kyrie Irving's first 3 seasons like? Coming in as a 19-year-old. Remember, Steph Curry played 3 years at Davidson. So he's coming in probably 21, close to 22 years old. As a 19-year-old, Kyrie Irving came in as a rookie, 18.5 points. His second year as a 20-year-old, he's an all-star averaging 23 points. That's not struggling. That's right away making an impact, right?
No, he's a baller. We're talking about all time.
Hold on. And we're comparing him to Curry. And you said injuries is the reason why you would hold back on Kyrie being in a top 10, top 6, top 5 range.
Top five. I say top 6.
And I'm showing you absolutely he outperforms them all except Magic and maybe Curry and Isaiah. But all the other dudes, he's outperforming.
I don't know, man. Like I said, he had some highs, but because of those injuries, man, he missed a lot of games.
What about Steph Curry's injuries?
Steph Curry achieved more, so we can't compare.
No. What about
Curry is better than Kyrie?
No, he's not. What about Steph Curry's injuries? Like they
hampered him, but he got 4 rings.
No.
What the comparison is.
No. He got 2 rings. Kevin Durant got the other 2 for him.
Come on. Wait, hold on.
No. But you're saying his okay. So Kyrie Irving's still playing. He's younger than Steph Curry. He might get his second ring this year. That's 2. Yeah. Okay, so what?
He got a shot.
Okay, so and he's still younger than Steph Curry.
So I have a question. So you saying right now is a battle between Kyrie and Steph for number 6 or possibly 5?
I got Steph at number 4, and I got Kyrie at number 6.
Yeah, because I think Steph is definitely top 5.
And there's no battle for Steph and Kyrie because once you take the talent that you see on the floor and add the resume to it, Curry grades higher than Kyrie. Right? That's my philosophy on it. But you're saying that he's not near top 5 because of ups and downs, the same ups and downs that Steph Curry.
Other guys, those top 4,
the same ups and downs that Steph Curry had.
But Steph Curry achieved more. That's what I'm saying.
But hold on. But that doesn't mean.
And we're banking off potential with Kyrie.
Listen. Make a point. I'll address it, right? And we'll have a back and forth that we don't have to raise our voice for. And
you got it.
Yeah, because if we keep doing this, I have to mute you while I talk. But here's my point. What you're doing is you're taking a standard and grading Kyrie on the standard, and you're saying that I'm not going to use that standard against Steph Curry because he got 4 rings. That's what you're saying. So you're saying, hey, Kyrie's injuries is the reason why I'm going to tax him and rank him lower, but I'm going to ignore Steph Curry's injuries in his season because when he came and got injured after Kevin Durant left, what was those 2 seasons like?
There were some down years,
and they got the number 1 draft pick. They were so down, right? They got lottery picks 2 years in a row because they were so down. So, and what was his years like when he first got drafted? The first 3 years when he was playing alongside Monte Ellis, not good. So we have
not good.
Okay, and then how many times did he go out for an ankle injury? His first 3 years, he had to have surgery twice. So he's had years where he's had injuries. His wrists, his ankles, his foot. He's missed seasons. And then when Clay got hurt, he couldn't do nothing without Clay. So we have
point guards. They need pieces. Point guards.
But you're making excuses for Kyrie. I mean, for Steph Curry though. You can't do that. Use the same standard and apply it across the board. Right?
I don't see that logic.
Now, Magic Johnson, we know what his injury was. He's still dealing with it, and he had to retire early. Isaiah Thomas, we know what his wrist injury was, that he claimed the reason why he couldn't beat the Bulls no more, and he had to retire early for it. So they've all had injuries. You're grading Kyrie on a scale that you're not using for nobody else, and you're giving them an exemption, and that's unfair. But I appreciate the call, though.
All right.
Yeah. Like I'm looking at Kyrie Irving coming in as a 19-year-old, averaging 19 points. His second year, he was an all-star. 24. As a matter of fact, by the time he left Cleveland, this is what Kyrie had accomplished by the time he left Cleveland, right? He left Cleveland. I can't believe I gotta have this. Like, people hate Kyrie so much they're willing to call the show and argue, right? 2016 NBA champion, 4-time All-Star, 2014 All-Star MVP. I think he was the rookie sophomore MVP as well as a rookie. Won Rookie of the Year in 2012. 2016 gold medalist. I mean, like, this is the things that he did in his first 5 years in Cleveland before he left. And to say after he left LeBron, his career was up and down and trash, but because like it was an issue with him playing on the court. Nah, I mean, he got hurt a couple of times within the time he left LeBron, but that's the only issue that Kyrie has ever had, was getting hurt or getting suspended by the Brooklyn Nets. He got hurt and had to have surgery in Boston, but guess what? Boston had a top 2, top 3 record in the league when he got hurt. So obviously what he was doing was translating to wins on the floor, and he was in the early MVP discussion, right? The next year, they still had a good season and made the playoffs, even though they had issues in the locker room, but they made the playoffs and made the second round. Not a first round exit. Then he went to Brooklyn, and we know what that was about. They traded everything for Harden. Harden showed up. They got to the playoffs. There was looked like they was going to have an easy walk to the finals because the Bucks had nothing for them. And then Kyrie Irving falls on Giannis's foot, twists his ankle real bad, had to have surgery. And then Harden tears up his hamstring and left Kevin Durant out there by himself with a skeleton crew. And then the next year, the vaccine happened or the pandemic happened. I mean, we just go act like these things that happen are just circumstantial, crazy things that happen. And then we just go excuse everything that happened to Steph Curry and act like, his career had just been all peaches and gravy. But hey, man, we can't do that, man. Caller from Kansas, what's up?
Hey, it's Bean Brown. I'm calling. I pretty much agree with a lot of stuff that you said on the Kyrie. I just wish that you would mention the other players that the sports media, like Kawhi and KD and Russell Westbrook, how they, try to bring them down, and make like they should be playing at the YMCA instead of, the things that they've done in the league. Kyrie, they did. He should have been on the 75. He should have been on that, and he should have been going to the Olympics.
I agree. But you know what? I'm willing to even concede the fact that maybe the Olympics might not be the best idea because he did tweet something out that some people think is offensive to our Jewish brothers and sisters, right? So he tweeted. I agree with that.
They don't want to start an international, an international thing. Yeah. So I didn't think about that, but
I agree.
You're right on that.
So I'm good with that part, and I think Kyrie Irving understands that as well. But what I don't understand is you got to keep him off the top 75.
Right. And he's way better than Dame and
Westbrook, for sure.
A lot of the people that got picked before him.
Yep.
And see, people to me are not giving Dame the headaches that they gave other players, for this year. I mean, what did he do this year? But nobody, they don't bring that up.
Yep. And you're right. 100%. It's time for Dame to start getting a lot of flack. But I mean, I'm not the type of dude that's go, just try to trash a dude, you know what I mean? Because I understand, look, man, he just got to a squad, and playing with Giannis is not that easy because Giannis has a particular style of basketball that he has to play. And that's hard to adjust to, man. Like, Giannis can't adjust because he don't have the skill set to do something different than what he was already great at. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I appreciate that though. Thanks for the call.
Thank you.
Yep. All right, last one. We'll take one more. Get through these comments, man. Yeah, it's just hard for me to listen to. Like at this point, why are we still trying to slander him for stuff? Like, I mean, the flat Earth stuff and to say, nah, man, he's not a top point guard, you know. And I didn't say top 5, I said top 6. It's 5. It's 5 I put above him. And before this season, I didn't have enough ammo on his resume to even justify putting him top 10. I think I do now. Right? Caller from Rockford, Illinois. What's up?
What's going on, man?
What's good? What's your thoughts, man?
Big fan of the show. Definitely a big fan of the show. I'm watching you live right now.
Man, I appreciate it. I appreciate it, man. What's your thoughts?
I agree with you, bro. Kyrie just took a lot of flack because of the stumble that he posted on Twitter, and then with the whole flat Earth thing. Nobody gives a damn about that, man. The Earth's flat. We just gonna ride with it. It's the truth. It's like it ain't nothing to dispute. It's a proven fact. You can look it up with the plane. The flight pattern.
Yeah,
you throw it on the flight patterns all the time.
And look, and at the end of the day, it's not even that big of a deal because if it was flat or round, that don't change nothing about how we live our life. Who cares?
I'm like, oh man, he really on this time. But anyway, no, I appreciate him calling in too because he give me more to talk about.
Yeah, for sure, man. That's my guy, man. He's one of the day one fans of the show, man. So that's my guy, man. So I hope he's still in the comment section though.
And I respect that. I respect that a lot. I love to listen to the commentary. Man, y'all got the best show on YouTube. Like I literally watch y'all every time y'all come on. Like I just started really, commenting and stuff like that because usually I just like to see it. But this whole LeBron the GOAT thing, like it's blowing my mind. Slim be saying some wild, outlandish shit sometimes. Like when I fuck with him, he be saying some real shit too. But for real. So he's from the A, I'm from the A. You know what I'm saying? So it's just love and respect, man. Y'all keep on doing what y'all doing. I appreciate you answering the call, bro.
Man, thanks, man. I appreciate the call, man.
What's up?
All right. I'm gonna take one more because there was one that called from Ohio that I just sent the voicemail. That Ohio number and that Ohio number only can call back on this topic because I want to move on and get y'all out of here because we're already at 2 hours and there ain't really no need to rush, man, because that game's such a blowout. And what did I tell y'all before when we first started this live? I said this game is gonna be a blowout. I knew it was gonna be a blowout, man. Lord have mercy. What's the score? Let me check this. These boys, yeah, it's over. They scored. If they go on the 8-0 run, they might lose by 15. Last call. Hey, what that Ohio number at? I'll call back. You know what? I'm gonna call the number back. Yeah. Let's call it back. Who? Hey, Zoe, do you think anybody got cooked today? Did I get cooked? Did we put anybody in that pot? We got any anybody got grilled extra crispy? I don't know, man. Yeah, that Kyrie Irving slander gonna be it's gonna be tough it's gonna be tough, man. What Cash talking about? Cash, you didn't watch the show if you think I said something about Game 7 too. I done said 17 times Minnesota was gonna lose tonight. I said that several times. I don't know what you talking about, man. You on that new juice. All right, let's move on. Let me get this phone number out of here, man. And get to this next topic, man. JJ Redick. It looked like he go get that Lakers job. And Baron Davis was on Carmelo Anthony's podcast, and they spoke about it. And they said they was very respectful of JJ Redick, and they pretty much in a nutshell said that, man, it's time for some new meat. Pause. It's time for some new blood, on the bench. And, they welcomed JJ to get in this job, even though he didn't go through the ringer and, sit on the bench as an assistant or do all these things, man. So, that was like, man, we support JJ in that. But Baron Davis said something very interesting that I wanted to kind of touch on. And I'm coming at it from a different angle than what he's coming at it. I think he's coming at it more with just, I want to pick this bone with him. But I'm coming from it with, okay, you can pick that bone, but I think the bone you're picking with him is reason for him not to be considered, man. Like I'll tell you why after I play this.
I think JJ, I fuck with it because I think JJ has an opportunity. It's just about what opportunity that he has. Because we need new culture. We need new energy in those seats today.
But you were saying the only problem you had was what?
I just got a bone to pick with JJ. He said something. I think historically, he's been taking shots historically. And so it's like.
At you?
No, just at the history of the game.
The game.
Like the Jerry West comment, he played with plumbers and shit like that.
That was crazy.
That was wild, bro.
That was crazy.
That's my only problem. You know what I mean? It's like, you gotta definitely respect
the OGs.
Yeah, because like, all right, think about that. Think about it.
Who was the nigga he was talking about?
Jerry West, bro.
He said Jerry West played with plumbers and shit like that. It was like
he was saying like that era was like plumbers and people who had jobs and shit. I'm like, all right, cool.
He was playing against the milkman.
Niggas had jobs though, BD.
Okay, now
it was hard times though.
Now
the economy was different.
Yeah. Then you go and you say, man, you know how hard it take. I have to do this much work, shoot these many shots.
That's a fact.
Get in the gym, this, da-da-da-da-da-da. And tell him about his routine to be JJ Redick.
Yes.
That makes sense?
No.
So the way I liken it, if JJ Redick had to be a plumber, you know what I mean, or had a job, like you got all this free time to not be a plumber, not be a carpenter, and you JJ Redick. You ain't Jerry West.
Right.
You should have been Jerry West.
Heard you. Plus all the
so you can't diss Jerry West or anybody in that era and say they were carpenters, because what if you had a job, motherfucker? You wouldn't even be in the league. You know what I mean? Because you got to work that hard
to be you.
To be you. Yeah. To be you, which is saying like that's hella respectful, but you got to respect them dudes in that era because they put that work in. You know what I mean? So if you said,
they put in pain literally.
Yeah. So there's some JJ Redicks in that era that was plumbers. You know what I mean? And like you talking about yourself,
right? If they didn't have to be plumbers, man.
Hey, bro. I mean, I can just throw out some names and he'll start laughing. You know what I mean?
Who's an old school dude that
who was a plumber? Yeah. Well, you know what I mean? There's a lot of plumbers. You know what I mean? You need plumbers, though.
So this is what I want to point out. Number one, JJ Redick is a very disrespectful dude. And one thing you don't want to disrespect is the people that came before you and paved the way for you in whatever your career field or whatever, whatever we're talking about, the people who was before you and who built everything for you to succeed, the shoulders that you're standing on, those are the last people you want to disrespect, right? So even if one of those people came with a little disrespect to me, an honorable person wouldn't give it back to an elder, especially an elder who's in your fraternity that came before you and paved the way for you. You don't disrespect those people, right? JJ Redick is one of those people who feel like he can just say whatever he want to say. He disrespected Larry Bird. I did a video on that. Michael Cooper from the Lakers came back and he said, I hate Larry Bird, but for you to disrespect a great like that, he had to, and he gave JJ Redick one of the best rants I ever heard. I mean, he completely undressed him like a stripper, right? So Michael Cooper got on him. Dominique Wilkins got on him for what he said about Larry Bird. He said something about Bob Cousy. Bob Cousy had to get on him. I want to say Rick Barry got on him. And then, of course, he said something about Jerry West. Jerry West was asked about it on Paul George podcast. He mentioned it. I'm like, dude, why are you disrespecting all these dudes to try to prop up this era? Right. And I guess at some point, some of these dudes feel like they got tired of people that played in rougher eras calling this era soft. So they started to push back and say, well, if you go call us soft, we're gonna start clowning your era and disrespecting you, which I think is just crazy to do, right? The second part of that though is for him to make the comment that it was plumbers that they was playing against back then. So how good were they? You know, like if we talk about how great Jerry West is, who's the logo of the NBA basketball, and he was a great player and a great shooter. He could play, got to the finals a lot of times, even though he was losing to them great Celtics teams sometimes. But he was a great player, great shooter as well, smart, had size on. I think he's like 6'5". I like Jerry West. It's footage of him out there. So for you to say maybe he wasn't that good because he was playing against plumbers, and for Carmelo Anthony and Baron Davis to point out, well, if you're making $20 million a year and you don't have to have a second job in the summer and you don't have to be a plumber, and all you do is work out and shoot 500 jump shots a day in the off season and work and do all this other stuff, and we got all this science and all of this crazy stuff that's supposed to go in your favor, how come with all of that you didn't turn into a Jerry West-like player, but Jerry West, with having to work in the offseason and having a rougher lifestyle, playing in a rougher era, he was able to turn into Jerry West, the logo, someone who led teams to the finals, someone who is a top 50 player of all time, someone well respected in this league. How did he turn into that? And with everything that you had working for you, you only turned into JJ Redick, a journeyman who wasn't even authorized to take more than 2 dribbles on the floor, who was only a catch and shoot coming off a screen type player, who couldn't guard a nosebleed or stop a nosebleed, couldn't guard a parked car. Only the best thing going for him is the part in his hair and the mousse that he wear. How did you turn into that player with all of that, but Jerry West turned into Jerry West, right? So for you to criticize that era and criticize Jerry West is crazy to me. So my whole point on this is I don't remember any head coach that was in a league that didn't pay homage to the eras before them and pay homage to the players before them. I don't think I've met the head coach that would dog and talk trash about the greats like Larry Bird and Jerry West and the eras that they played in. I don't think I've met that coach. I haven't seen Phil Jackson come out and talk about the era that was before Michael Jordan. I haven't seen Steve Kerr do it. I haven't seen Greg Popovich do it. I haven't seen Pat Riley do it. I haven't seen any coach worth I haven't seen any coach worth anything that's talking like JJ Redick about the eras that came before them. I haven't seen it. And for that reason, I don't think JJ Redick is worthy of even if this is a true fraternity, if the NBA is a real fraternity, I don't think anyone should be advocating for JJ Redick to get a job, honestly. Just based on that, not based on if we think that he can coach, just based on how he talked about the guys that we're standing on the shoulders of. I don't think he's worthy of getting a head coaching job. If we're going to go and tell players like Steph Curry and Kyrie Irving that we got to chastise you for thinking the earth is flat and thinking we didn't land on the moon, in the fraternity of basketball, in the fraternity of the NBA, what is it when a player comes out and fix his mouth to say Larry Bird wasn't as great as we think he is, and he wasn't a great shooter, and because his percentage wasn't high, and Jerry West and Bob Cousy played against plumbers, so they're not that good, and this era was trash, and they couldn't dribble with their left hand. Like, this is the stuff that he was really saying. They can't dribble with their left hand and all this crazy stuff. Just trash the era. How does the fraternity allow this man to get a head coaching job for the Lakers, a historic franchise, one of the most historic franchises with the most rings right now in the history of the NBA, who Jerry West played for coached for and worked in the front office for, who still got ties. If Jerry West wanted a job right now, he can go to the Lakers. So for you to say that about Jerry West, a real Laker, and get a job, I think it's crazy. And that's my whole spill on that. I'm going to open the phone lines up for 3 calls. I want y'all thoughts on and y'all comments on that, man. Let me look at these comments that y'all typing up while I wait for this phone to ring. Yeah, this is unbelievable. I just can't believe the Lakers is even considering this, and for them to consider it, man, it's got to be getting heavy push and heavy support from LeBron, in my opinion. Because I don't think he would seriously be in competition for a job. Greg Anderson, what's up, man? What's your thoughts?
Hey man, what's going on, Mel? You've been cooking all week, man. You've been. I'm loving the fact that you've been doing these recaps, after the game. But I love the fact that you had the foresight not to do a recap after today's game, because you already know what it was.
Yeah, y'all would have been bored watching that game for sure.
Yeah. Oh, okay, so my thoughts on JJ. You know what? As much as I don't like JJ, as much as I don't like him being disrespectful of the people that have paved the way to make the NBA what it is, I think it's just perfect and it's fitting that he's gonna be LeBron coach. I think this is gonna be a nightmare of a season. I want him to get the job. I want him to look. After that podcast that they did when they were talking about analytics and shooting threes in the first 7 seconds, and it was like, that's a good shot or whatever. That's a great shot. And, it's the same field goal efficiency as late in the clock. I can't wait for somebody to be coming down the court and just be chucking up threes in the first 5 to 6 seconds. LeBron getting pissed off. Coach said it was a good shot. This. It's gonna be a disaster.
You can't wait for them to call a timeout, and instead of grabbing his clipboard, he grab a calculator to figure out what analytically what we need to do analytically. Let me get a calculator.
Right. And for the next 5 minutes, we're gonna shoot 3 threes. I just can't wait. I want Bronny to get drafted by the Lakers. I want JJ Redick to be the coach. I'm just waiting for the shit show. So, have at it. And this is gonna be, you know what? It's 2 players. It's LeBron and it's JJ, and both of them, to me, both of them disrespect the previous generation. They're
Draymond as well.
Yeah. They're historians of the game. But they use that knowledge for evil. It's like they try to manipulate what really happened. They try to push a narrative. And I just can't wait for all of them to get together. And I just can't wait for the shit show. So I'm going to jump off the line. But go JJ. Please hire him tomorrow. I can't wait to see this shit. This is going to be the best thing in sports. It's going to be better than the season.
We might need a Lakers podcast. But this will be the first Lakers podcast that's anti-Laker. Like, it'd be a lot of pro-Laker channels. Man, the anti-Laker channel might be the lick, man. You want to be a co-host on that? The anti-Laker channel?
I'm down, because I'm just waiting to see this. It's gonna be so entertaining. It's like, dude, everything that can go wrong will go wrong. I'm talking about Bronny being on the Lakers, JJ being AD. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me go back to a Kyrie comment. Hey, Kyrie was the smart one, bro. He picked something way back then. He said, I got to get the hell away from LeBron, because look, he hit the game-winning shot and didn't get the credit. Okay, but when he left, he got the blame.
Facts.
Right? So people been getting blamed when LeBron don't win all the way back then. And he was the smart one. He said, I got to get the hell away from this environment. And he kind of let it slip out in that interview with Matt Kellerman. He was like, it's an environment that's not surrounded by truth.
Yeah, but you know another thing he was smart about.
What's that?
So knowing that the NBA has a love interest with Luka and have a invested interest in him succeeding, that's the only way that Kyrie was going to be shielded and protected. Because when he was with Kevin Durant is the opposite of Luka. Kevin Durant does not have the protection. So it was easy for the NBA to say, yeah, we go call the game a certain way. Brooklyn ain't advancing out of this first round. Boston go sweep them. You get what I'm saying? It was easy to do that. But when he goes and plays under Luka, notice all of a sudden people can't foul him like they fouled him when he was with KD.
That's the truth. That's the truth. He used that. He used all of them stereotypes to. He kind of slid under the radar too.
He went to Egypt.
Think about it.
He went to Egypt.
Yeah, he went to Egypt. And I'm a preacher's kid. You probably can't tell, but I'm a preacher's kid. So that Joseph analogy was just like on point. And bro, that picture, man, that picture is so dope, bro. Because like I'm a man that have in my lifetime I've stood on principle, and it'd be 3-4 years later when they come back around, they be like, Greg was the smart one.
Exactly.
Greg was the one that stood on principle. So I understand that. So that's why I've never talked crazy about Kyrie in the first place. Because if you're gonna stand on business, you're not gonna win all the time.
Exactly.
But you can wake up with your nuts in your hand.
Exactly.
All right, I'm out of here, man. But hey, go JJ, man. What was you talking about, man? This is gonna be a train wreck. This is gonna be a train wreck, and I'm here for it.
All right, man. Hey, what we gonna name the podcast? Hey, we'll just we'll name it Lakers Daily. Everybody go think that we talking good about them, man. But we go celebrate the losses.
Oh my God, it's gonna be a train wreck. I'm telling you, it's gonna be a train wreck, man. Oh my God! All right, man. Let me get off the phone.
All right, big dog. Yep. All right, let's get 2 more calls in here, man. That was a good call, man. That's my dog Greg, man. Get 2 more calls in here, man, on the JJ Redick or any other topic before the JJ Redick topic, man. But this was we're gonna end it because we got one more topic after this, so we go get up out of here real quick, man. Unless y'all want to stay, man, we might do something after. We'll see. Let's get 2 more phone calls in here. Make sure y'all go ahead and hit that like button, man. Everybody's in there. Hit the like button. As a matter of fact, let's do an experiment right now. Everybody right now that can see and hear me, like right now, hit the like button. I give you 5 seconds to hit the like button. And then after you hit the like button, I want you to think about one friend. As a matter of fact, no, think about 2 friends that you know that like NBA content, and hit the share button and DM this to those 2 friends. And let's see if we can get the numbers to go up. And if that happens, I might do some extra time. All right, caller from Illinois, what's up?
What's good, man? I just called earlier.
Okay, what's your thoughts?
They be high. I don't know what he be going. What he talking about? Playing plumbers? Really? That whole era would bust his ass easily. He can't play no D. And he literally was a pin down catch and shoot shooter in Duke. That was his whole game.
That's about it.
That's it.
Now he did it at a high level at Duke. I got to give it to him. He was that dude at Duke. Yeah, he was that dude at Duke.
Look, if he got such a high IQ, why didn't that translate into the league?
Well, he ain't got the game for it.
Exactly. He ain't got the athletic ability for it.
No.
That's why he a catch and shoot. Let me stand in the corner.
Yeah. I mean, he still might be a good coach. My only argument is that
I ain't taking that from him at all.
Yeah, he might be a decent coach. My only argument, because we seen Jeff Hornacek do a decent job in Phoenix, and Steve Kerr is doing a good job in Golden State, so he could be a good coach.
Yep.
My only argument
was a similar player in college as well.
Right, and my only argument is that I don't think he deserves it. If you look at the NBA as a fraternity, I just personally would not hire someone that don't respect our history. I wouldn't hire someone that don't. Look, I did military. The first thing they teach us when we get to boot camp is part of it is the history. We got to know that. We got to know that.
Understand that, yeah.
They got you get what I'm saying. So you
get your pride into.
Exactly, man. You can't go around disrespecting the history, man. That's ridiculous.
No. And if he was anywhere near Jerry West caliber player, he would understand that. Clearly.
Yeah.
But he like you said, he's talented enough. No. He might have a mindset.
I would make him do his rounds on several podcasts.
Yeah, he need to start at the college level. I'll give him a college job.
No. If the Lakers want to hire him, the Lakers would say, "Hey, look, we're going to hire you, but we need you to go. We need you to make it right with Jerry West. You need to go back on First Take and take back every BS statement you said about his era, him as a player, Bob Cousy, Larry Bird. Take all that bull crap back and show our fans that you respect the history and you respect the guys that came before you, and then we'll hire you. Other than that, you're not getting the job."
True.
That's what I'm saying.
And then it's funny because he kind of played in the era where they were still hand checking. I think that was like he came in right a little bit before Kobe was getting ready to go out.
Mm.
Like he played at least 7 years in that, like the end of Kobe shit. What? JJ what? 2004, 05, something like that.
I don't know when he came in, but I know when he came in, he couldn't get off the bench. And I remember when Dwight Howard led Orlando to the championship against Kobe. I remember I remember he tried to guard Kobe.
Over him.
Yeah. It might have been Michael Petrie.
Michael Petrie.
Yeah, Michael Petrie started. It was Jameer Nelson or maybe Rayful Austin, Michael Petrie, Hedo Turkoglu, Rashard Lewis. That was the first team that kind of played small ball because Rashard was playing the power forward, and then Dwight.
That's the same year the other kid came out that played for. They lost in the tournament, and he started crying. And Gonzaga, he played for Gonzaga.
Oh, Adam Morrison.
Yeah. Adam Morrison. They came out the same year.
Yeah, for sure. But all right, man. I appreciate the call, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you for having me.
All right, thanks. All right, let's go to the last topic. Excuse me. Take the phone. Man, I thought I took take the phone call off. The phone number off. All right. And this last topic, Dwyane Wade, every time he talks, and this is old, this is like 2 years old. This is him going on the Knuckleheads podcast, but I just now ran across this. Now, I did a video a couple of months ago where Dwyane Wade was recently on a podcast. I can't remember which one. And he talked about how they almost had the deal done for Chris Paul to come to Miami. This is when they had Bosh and LeBron already. They was about to figure out a way to get CP3. And he said the only reason why the trade fell through is because they couldn't figure out who was going to wear number 3, Wade or CP3. And that was that's how that fell through, right? Other than that, we might have seen, and I'm not sure if Chris Bosh would have had to be part of that trade. It would have been dumb for them to get rid of a power forward that could help spread the floor to make LeBron's offensive system work. It would have been crazy for them to get rid of him. So I'm thinking they was probably going to get rid of other pieces and other draft picks to get CP3. And I don't know what CP3 contract situation was. I don't think he was on a max deal at that point. So it may have worked, but it looked like they was going to have not a super team, but a super duper team with CP3, Wade, Bosh, and LeBron. Now, Dwyane Wade telling us about another super duper team that almost came into existence. And I'm like, man, what was these dudes thinking? They was just looking at all the good players and saying, if I go play with them, we can get rings. Like that's what they was thinking. They wasn't thinking about the grind and earning it. They was thinking about, look, man, let's just stack the squad, and the end result would be rings, and they had to talk about us with Kobe and Mike. Listen to how he broke this down.
I'm like, cool, let's do it.
Let me ask you this. Could it have been another team?
Yeah.
Oh, so it could have been another team.
It could have been.
So
you know what I'm saying? Like
it wasn't just Miami that this could have worked in. It could have worked.
Miami was the only, I don't know I don't know, but I know at the time when we were trying to make a decision of what city we wanted to play in or what we wanted to be, like we had to keep our options open to these other. Chicago was on the top of both of our lists.
Yeah.
So it was pretty much Chicago. Miami was on the top. But like, you know, we looked at New York.
Yeah.
The possibility, because if we're gonna ride together, if we're gonna play together, let's see what these other cities got to offer. So Chicago at the time, they had to offer, they had 2 max contracts and they had a young D Rose before the MVP Rose, the season before. They had a Luol Deng, they had Noah, they had, you know what I'm saying, they had all these pieces. So I'm like, in the city, in Chicago, in one of the biggest markets.
That would have been
crazy.
Yeah.
But then it was like, you and D Rose, that's a lot. It's one ball. We all need it.
Yeah.
That may be too much. You know what I'm saying?
Y'all play defense, though.
Yeah, but we thought about it. But then it was like, but then Miami, to their credit, they did it to where they had enough money to get 3 max players. They messed the game up.
They flushed the house.
Yeah, so it was like, wait, we can get somebody else too.
Hold on, let's flush the toilet. Let's start all over.
Start all over. So it was like, cool. So then, like, we just trying to sit and decide. Like, once it came down to like, okay, who else we would love to play with? And once it came down, we would love to play with like CB. Like, when we sit down and thought about this, what player can match out? Who matches us?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Amari, man, Amari good, but man, we all alphas. That ain't gonna work.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, egos may get in the way. Yeah. Who knows? So we had to sit down and think about this. Yeah. And when it came out to Miami was the only team that had enough money to get all 3 of us. Yeah. Every other team could have did 2.
Yeah.
But like once again, the point was like, yo, CB is a perfect match.
Out of everybody else,
Miami was a no-brainer for them.
He was perfect. Like I couldn't see too many other people fitting that void with you and LeBron. That can kind of fit in, take the shots that everybody gonna throw him.
Because they was all they was doing. They were taking shots at him, and like other guys couldn't take that.
Toronto rafter Chris Bosh,
monster,
ass.
Monster.
You hear me?
So there you got it. This is D Wade coming out and saying, "Man, we was almost in Chicago with D Rose, so it would have been D Rose, who I want to say D Rose might have been possibly still on his rookie contract." So I don't think he was on a max deal, but maybe he was on a max deal. I don't know. So maybe he was on a max deal, but they had room for, he said, 2 max players, which would have been him and LeBron. So they wouldn't have had Chris Bosh. So it would have been D Rose, LeBron James, D Wade, Joakim Noah, and Luol Deng. And then he also said that they tried to get CP3 on Miami. And Carmelo Anthony also said that it was supposed to be him in the big 3 and not Bosh. What the heck was these dudes doing? Seriously, what was they doing? What was they trying to do? Did they look back at how Mike did it and say, I got to do it that way so I can, because obviously LeBron wanted to be compared to Mike. You get what I'm saying? Like if Michael Jordan climbed Mount Everest and all he had was the basic tools to climb Mount Everest, and he got praised for getting to the top of Mount Everest with the basic tools, if you want to be praised similar to Mike, you got to get to the top of Mount Everest by doing it the way Mike did it in order for it to be as impressive. The only thing you can do different is say, I'm going to do it with less tools than Mike did. So give me half of the tools that he had, and I want to get to Mount Everest and see if I can impress y'all. But if you can't do it with less than what Mike had, and when I say the basic tools, Mike had 1 co-star that was an all-star caliber player. But we can upgrade Pippen and call him a superstar. I do that. I will call for the purpose of this conversation, let's call Pippen a superstar. So every superstar that wants to win should have a co-star or a superstar as a co-star, or all-star as a co-star at least, because Elijah won one, and he didn't have a superstar co-star. His co-star, his number 2 was Vernon Maxwell, and he wasn't even an all-star for his first one. So, I mean, it depends on who you think his co-star was. Was it the rookie Robert Ory? Was it the second-year player Sam Cassell? Was it Kenny Smith? Was it Vernon Maxwell? Was it Otis Thorpe? None of those guys were all-stars, but Elijah won a ring with one of those guys. Now, I would say Vernon Maxwell was his co-star, not an all-star. He was good. He could shoot. He was tough. He played great defense, but he wasn't an all-star. Then he got to Clyde Drexler the next year, and he won with Drexler. So let's say Drexler's a superstar on pace with Scottie Pippen. So that's matching up. So Elijah Wan did it with 0 all-stars, and then he did it with a superstar, right? So that's how I look at that. So the basic things is your co-star at least need to be an all-star. Can I get an all-star co-star? That's what Michael Jordan had. That's the basics. LeBron James said, I don't want to do it with an all-star co-star, because that's what Mo Williams was, an all-star. I don't want to do it with an all-star co-star. I want to do it with a superstar as my co-star, and then I want to go get an extra superstar in Chris Bosh. And then I want to go get another superstar past his prime in Ray Allen and put him on my bench. And then I want to go get another former all-star in Rashard Lewis from Orlando. And then I want to go get Mike Miller, who's a French all-star. And I want to put all that on my squad, right? And before he got all of that, he said, maybe we could do Law Dane, Joakim Noah, D Rose, and Wade. And he probably still would have bought Ray Allen out there the next year after they failed as well. So he's thinking that as long as I get to Mount Everest, it don't matter how I got there. Mike got there with the basic tools. I'm going to get a helicopter. Like John Stockton said, LeBron James took a helicopter to the top of Mount Everest. And the only thing as fans and as NBA media, the only thing that we're counting is how many times he got to Mount Everest. He got to Mount Everest 4 times, but we're not counting the fact that he took an elevator there. And the guy that he wanted to be compared to only had the basic tools. Make that make sense. I'm going to take an elevator there, and I can only get there 4 times. Not an elevator, but a helicopter. I'm taking a helicopter to the top of Mount Everest. I only got there 4 times, but this guy that I want to be compared to had the basic tools, and he got there 6 times. And the dude that I had to play against in my era, who also was mimicking Michael Jordan, got there 5 times with the basic tools. He only had another guy, and it was 2 superstars, Shaq and Kobe. He got 3 with that. Then he got 2 with an all-star. So Kobe he played with Shaq, but he was considered the number 2 or the Scottie Pippen. And he didn't like that reputation that he was getting or gaining, or he didn't like the fact that he was the number 2. So he said, look, by any means necessary, either I'm leaving LA or he leaves LA, but I got to show the world that I can do it the way Michael Jordan did it with the basic tools, which is just another all-star co-star. So he went through his process, and then he got his co-star, and then he won the first year, he got his co-star. And then he won the second year. Well, no, I'm lying. The first year he got his co-star, he lost in the finals, then he won the second year, and then he won the third year. So he went 3 straight finals with his co-star as soon as he got an all-star co-star. Those are the basics. LeBron is trying to win with more than the basics. He's trying to get to the top of Mount Everest with more than the basics, but he still want to be compared to the guys that got there more than him with less. That's my thoughts. Phone lines are open. Taking 3 phone calls. Let me know what y'all think about the fact that D Wade and LeBron was about to go over to the Bulls and try to form a super team with D Rose. I mean, that would have been crazy, because the only competition in the East they gave them any headaches in the East was the D Rose Bulls. And if they would have joined him, they would have been beating up on poor little Carmelo and poor little Chris Bosh in Toronto. Super duper teams are crazy. Let's get one phone call in here, though. Let's get one phone call. They're just crazy, man. Chris. Chris, we're doing. Hey, we're gonna do the post game on a separate stream, Chris. I'm gonna make that. But yeah, since I'm not getting any phone calls for that, appreciate y'all for joining. I appreciate the super chat. I appreciate the phone calls that we got. Definitely appreciate all the comments. I couldn't get to all of them, but that's my spiel on that, man. Hope y'all enjoyed the stream. I catch y'all on the post game. We got to react to Minnesota and Dallas. So we'll be reacting to that in about 10 minutes. Let me get this phone call that just called. Yeah, so we'll be reacting to we'll be talking about Minnesota and Dallas, and then kind of previewing Dallas and Boston as well. So y'all go ahead and catch that stream. It should be in the next 5 to 10 minutes. After I finish with this phone call, we'll go on the next stream. Somebody said that would have been cheating. They would have had the whole East locked down based on them doing off-season acquisitions. But all right, man, I'll catch y'all on the next stream, man. Give me 5-10 minutes. All right, peace.